Greetings and salutation, League of Legends fans, for I am Sodaron, the wizard of LOL Esports, here to bring you the next level with Sodaron, where we are going to review LCK Summer 2024 Match 76, Nongshim Red Force vs T1 Esports, I guess you would call them, which these are my favorite ramen right here. I'm vegetarian, these are considered vegan, but these are the best tasting ramen noodles I've had so far. I like to take mine and add tofu and eggs and a bunch of vegetables, and I make a big pot of soup out of just one thing of noodles and one base, people say. Yeah, good. So we had a lot go on in the LCK today. I've got a lot of work ahead of me, right? I wanted to VOD review Gen G versus KT, which is match number 75, but I don't have the time for it today. I would like to I'd like to do about a 2-hour show here and get done and go to bed early for once. So that's what we're planning to do. So I'm going to go ahead into this. So thank you for joining. Please, I've got a goal right now where I'm trying to reach 50 followers on Twitch. If you could easily go to my twitch.tv/Sodaron and click follow, I would greatly appreciate that. There's a lot of interesting things you get with the Twitch affiliate program where I've had the hours of streaming for quite a time now, maybe a year or longer, but I don't have the followers that I need. And that's part of my fault because I tried to grow my YouTube channel before I grew Twitch, which it seems like I did it backwards. I should have grown the Twitch channel first and then the YouTube channel. So that's something that I'm working on. I'm trying to grow my Twitch channel. So if you're out there, if you've got a friend or somebody you know that may be interested in League of Legends VOD reviews, now that's not the only thing we're going to do on my Twitch channel. I'm going to stream and play solo queue. I got my little buddy on my lap. Hold on, let me put him down. That's not the only thing I'm going to do with my Twitch channel. So if you're a Twitch follower of mine right now and you think that, man, Sodaron always does these boring VOD reviews and that's why you don't follow me. No. We're going to play a lot more solo queue. We're just waiting till the World's Boot Camp era starts. Here at September, we'll have a whole month to play solo queue because there won't be any matches or any games. That's some of why I try to stay ahead or stay with the curve. There's so many matches and games that League of Legends puts out every week that it's impossible to keep up with all of them. And, I've watched them for years and I've messed up because I should have been streaming and doing these VOD reviews instead of where I'm just sitting there. I mean, I gained information and knowledge out of them, but it didn't do me any good because I thought, I could put that on a resume with the team. Hey, I've been watching the LCK religiously, the LPL, the LEC for 11 years. And I got people that have been in the game for maybe 3 or 4 years telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about, or I've watched it for, 8, 9 more years longer than you have. So it's just my personal life and things. I had to get them organized around to where I could do this or make this almost like a full-time gig. So that's what we're trying to do here. So let's go ahead and get into the match. Now notice, I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably already know the news of what happened today in the LCK, and maybe you didn't. But Nongshim was on an 11-game losing streak against T1 today.
Where they had a big lead in game 1. Yeah.
Go ahead and let the casters do some work. I might ride the back of the casters a little bit more than I usually do in this VOD.
It certainly does.
I'm seeing it's more important that, as I say before, like you can't catch lightning in a bottle if you want to be a streamer or a pro gamer. You have to grind every day, so it's more important that I'm here like every day or as much as possible versus giving you really good VODs. So we have Vital back in the starting lineup. Vital brought in to utilize various champions. What champion will he pick against Carrier, who's played 17 unique champions? Gee, I don't know.
I don't think so. As
Vital's got a pretty unique champion pool, an X80 carry player himself. Carrier known for
Let's see
playing
some
AD
stats,
carries,
guys. Let's
support
see some more
role,
stuff.
Marksman, I should say.
That he has.
So Owner is the best.
Yeah, it's really also interesting that the top 5 win rates are Nocturne, his best champion so
I haven't
far with
seen
13-1.
Nocturne, I
remember
think,
when
this
he
year.
was already
Maybe
there
in the
with that
beginning of the
champion, but
season.
I think maybe it was just because T1 was winning so much in
I don't
general,
really pay attention to
that,
these stats and
sort of
stuff.
was
Like this,
overlooked
all this
with
stuff's
one loss
meaningless to
of
me
Nocturne so far in his
personally.
career. But first off,
Now I know you
we're
kids
gonna
out
be
there
welcoming
care about the
Nongshim to the
takedowns and the
stage.
kills
Nongshim
and
making the debut
the
as far
awesome
as,
plays and all that. And I was listening to another VOD while I was making my dinner earlier, and
and it's gonna be vital.
it was an actual coach. Check it out. I'll give a plug. It was this show called The Best League Show, or Best D-Word League Show. And there was an actual coach on there that had coaching experience. And he basically was saying the same things that I say on my, not like word for word or for exact, but the things that I've been trying to say and talk about for years. And I played Warcraft 2 in junior high school, which is a mini-map game with the fog of war, just like League of Legends. Or some of you will say StarCraft. Give me a second here, actually. Let me try to... I think I have StarCraft on my PC. I'll be right back. I'm still here. I'm just looking at my Blizzard loader. One thing that I've wanted to do was buy Warcraft 3 Reforged, just so I can show you kids what... I'm logging into my Blizzard account that I haven't been on forever. And of course it's asking me all this information that I don't want to give out. I haven't been on my Battle.net account in so long that it's asking me to do security update and all this. Some of why I haven't done this before. I should be good now. Okay, now I can come back and share my screen. I think I have StarCraft. Oh, of course, you gotta restart. But I just wanted to show what I'm talking about. I have played this type of game for so long. I don't know if it's going to make me install this or not. It shouldn't take long. I have fairly fast internet, even though I'm like streaming at the same time. So I'll go ahead and let this install. But I played Warcraft 2 for years. And so I've been playing a game on a mini-map. Just like League of Legends. And so he was talking about how people don't even even pro players don't pay attention to the mini-map. And this is like what I'm pointing out. I need to buy this too. Like this is what I need to buy and start showing you all. I don't really have the $10 to spend, but... And there's another version that's like emulated that I've been playing for years that I don't want to do on stream. No, like I've been playing off this mini map for years and years and years, like 25 years. So this is all like just when I watch VODs, when I watch pro matches, I don't even really pay attention to what's going on the screen, and it's kind of what I'm trying to highlight to you. Is like I'm watching the mini map most of the time, and so. On this show, it was Thorin and another coach, and he was saying like Korean players they play off their mini map and they know what's going to happen ahead of time, and that's exactly how I look at it and see it. And if like you watch my VOD reviews in the past, I don't want that. I'm not amazing at StarCraft. I played the Warcraft 2 instead. I thought it was a much more fun game than what StarCraft was. I thought StarCraft was pretty boring compared to Warcraft 2, but it plays very similar. So I can't... I'm sorry if this is loud at the moment. Sound off. I don't know the hotkeys off the top of my head. But I'm gonna show you how this is like League of Legends. Play custom map. Now, see, like, I didn't play this as much because I was playing Warcraft 2. This was all boring to me, so I don't really know the maps very well. I know Lost Temple is a legendary map. This is even in Warcraft 3, the Lost Temple. And I'll probably get owned by a computer, and I'm not gonna, like... I like the Protoss. I like extraterrestrial stuff. I don't even remember how to, like, farm and play and all that, but you see how this map is dark down here? The mini-map? That's what you play off of, and then you gotta build units.
You have not enough minerals.
What's my, Now, Warcraft 2 was like this. I need a pylon is what I need.
You have not enough minerals.
And you make hotkeys. So the first thing I gotta do is make a pylon so I can make more units. But here's the key here in a minute. Yet I'm not very good at StarCraft or StarCraft 2. I thought Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 3 are better. I would do Warcraft 3, but I don't have the new version of it. So I make a pylon, and then, like, you start scouting this map. And I talk about this in Warcraft 2, that I learned from the best Warcraft 2 player on the US East server. It was, like, had a, like, probably a 90% win rate. See how I'm going around this map? And it's all black, and I'm looking for information. I'm trying to find where my enemy is. And if it's not lit up, you know, this is like your jungler in League of Legends. I don't know this map very well. I think the next area would be down here. So this was like a bad example. I probably would have been better off loading up StarCraft 2. I have more... I've played it more recently. And I should be back in my base doing other stuff. Like, oh, Sodaron, you don't know how to play this game. I don't remember what the simulators and the gateways do. Plus, I should be building more units. See how I'm, like, hotkeyed him? And my base is on 4. You have to keep pumping these units out as fast as you can, but then you have to control it, like this unit here. You switch back and forth. So you're like playing off the mini-map. Like the pro players get so good that they don't have to look at any of this base and see what they're doing. I probably need some gas resources too here soon. But I'm trying to find my enemy there. Oh, no. I was going to say I found the enemy, but I didn't find the enemy. But what I'm saying is like, if it's dark, you have to assume you're going to get killed by the enemy. So this is why the wards... So I've been playing off like this type of game. Now if it was Warcraft 2, I can still play it. I liked, a lot of people didn't like because it only has 2 races and StarCraft has 3, so it's more balanced. because when you play Warcraft 2, the orcs are much more powerful than the humans. Unless you're really, really, really good with micro, then it doesn't matter, and you can heal with the humans. The orcs have Bloodlust, which is a very super OP'd spell in this game. I probably need to like get this and play it on here. Pay the $10. And what we played all the time on here was Garden of War. And Iron Ladder. Again, I'm just trying to explain some things about League of Legends. I don't want my Blizzard thing up. See how, like, I know these hotkeys and stuff. And it's kind of boring at first because he's got to wait on this to build. This is the most fun map. But you're basically playing off the mini-map. And so I played this game for, I don't know, it was junior high into high school. So like 5 or 6 years maybe. And then Warcraft 3 came out. And then so I played Warcraft 3 for a pretty long time. When Warcraft 3 came out, we thought it was a really stupid game because it added the jungle and heroes, where Warcraft 2 is like StarCraft 2 or StarCraft 1. There's no heroes, there's no jungle, there's no creeps. But Warcraft 3 plays a lot more like League of Legends because there's a jungle. It has a role-playing aspect to it where you can level up heroes. And basically League of Legends is just a rip-off of a mod called Dota. Do you notice all this work he's having to do? See, I can do this a lot better than building the StarCraft units. He got tower rushed by his enemy. This isn't the cool Garden of War because it has the Garden of... There's like 2 Garden of Wars. There's the ladder version, which that's what this one is, and there's the non-ladder. The non-ladder didn't have this road in here, and you could wall this whole area off. But all I'm saying is I've played off a mini-map game for like 25 years. And then, so who is Sodaron? I did work with GAM back in 2022 in the summer split where they won and got first place, and then they went to Worlds and played against DRX, Rogue, and Top Esports. So I do know what I'm talking about. I've watched LCK since 2013. Every game, sometimes more than once. A lot of you don't even sit and watch a whole game. Warcraft 3. Temple. Lost Temple. You'll see how this looks just like that StarCraft map. Here's Moon, the most famous Korean Warcraft 3 player that, like, it's unreal the level of his micro. He actually plays for DRX. See again, the mini-map. He's gonna try and go to scout information. He's playing off the mini-map. He's not like staring at the units in his base. He's literally like looking around here on the mini-map. That's what I'm doing in League of Legends. When I'm watching pro games, that's what I'm doing. He plays so much he doesn't need to look at what his buildings do and knows what all the units do. That's why, like, StarCraft, it would take me a day or two to play a little bit to remember what builds I need and what units, because it's been so long, and I was never really big into StarCraft 1. I thought Warcraft 2 was better. So he's going... The next base over that he's trying to find is here, so he's sending out a scout. Then he's looking at this mini-map, trying to see if there's an enemy over here or not. No enemy. So now he's got to go to the next base location, which is down here. So his scout unit's gonna go down here. Like, I'm not really looking at the units and stuff. I know what he's doing there. He's doing a fast expansion. See how this is cooler than StarCraft? 'Cause there's like a... You got a hero, which is a champion that's just like champions in League of Legends. They were based off this game. Shaco's a little bit like the Blade Master, and Lee Sin's a little bit like the Blade Master. I'm trying to think if there's like a exact rip-off of a of a Warcraft 3 hero, but I can't really think of one. Like, they did a pretty decent job coming up with original stuff. So, like, he's not even watching this. He's just looking for his enemy down here. And the Warcraft 2 player taught me to scout out the enemy, and you make your movements and plan your attack that way. So now he knows. He had to spend all that time looking for where the enemy was. He didn't even know. So now he knows, and there's specific routes and things that he can take. And this whole area is like a jungle. This is like a jungle. There's creeps that you take down or kill that give you experience. And the human's going for the fast expansion, so he's trying to stop it over here. But again, he's playing off the mini-map. And you get to a point where you're controlling not one, but 3 champions like in League of Legends, plus many other units. Right now he has 2 champions, plus all the other units. So think if I'm playing a game where I've got 1 champion I'm playing, how easy that is to me if I played this for many years. The reason I don't play it now was Blizzard Games come out with a reforged version of Warcraft 3 back in like 2022, and people don't like it. They kind of ruined the game. It did make the ladder system a little bit better, and I've just I already spent like, it was probably like $50 when Warcraft 3 came out, or $60 for the battle chest. I had to buy an expansion, and you had to pay basically to get the beta when it came out. So I don't want to go and spend another $20 or $30 for a game I've already spent $60 on. So I'm kind of against it. That's why I've never bought Reforged. But I guess I need it for my stream so I can show people, like, you want to get better at League of Legends, play this game. So that's just my Who is Sodaron rant for the day. If you're questioning who I am, that I don't know what I'm talking about, or I give you misinformation, because I don't. Just unfortunately, now I've not really tried to go send a resume, sent to like 3 or 4 teams, and they don't care. They want younger people, and they won't even take the time to look or listen to your experience. They want a already well-known quantity to invest in. So I was told I got to build my own brand and spend all this time building my stream and channel and all that, till someday a pro team will look at me and like, oh, okay, you're Sodaron. You have 15 years of experience of a game like this that's more complicated, plus the 13 seasons, 14 seasons of League of Legends on top of that. Okay, you know what you're talking about. Unfortunately, they won't listen. So, and I've said my story that I had to stop grinding the game. And then I got to a point where I was just older and I didn't really care about grinding solo queue. And I guess that's what I gotta do. I gotta grind solo queue again this season and get challenger, and then, you know, hopefully you can get some type of coaching gig, right? But nowadays, I don't even think they care about the coach's ranking. I would think a team would want a coach that's somebody like my age, that's 38 years old, that's mature, and can bring more to the table than just the game knowledge and information, but life coach and help the players grow and evolve, and maybe do like outside activities. Plus, just very competitive and always want to win. I am one of these competitive people, like a faker, that I dislike
think round 2, there's
losing
an argument
more
that
than
he
I
is
like
just
winning.
Honor, because
I
he
don't
has
like to
been
lose.
the most consistent player on
That used to
T1
be a big
for quite
problem
some
for
time
me in
now,
solo queue.
and really
Even if I
has,
play a normal
especially
game
in
and
the
lose,
victories
I
that
would get
T1 has
so
picked up,
upset and
looked
mad.
like the dominant
So
force.
I had to learn to
I'm
deal
looking
with
to
all
see
that.
whether
Now
Nongshim
I'm
can
over
try
that.
and
Like, I
tackle
lose.
that, because
People
truly,
make mistakes.
just gets
Watch
into the end
Faker, he
jungle, and
loses all the
does not
time. You
stop.
can't
Saw
win
that
every
number
game. It's
percentage. He
impossible.
is number 1 in the
A lot of
LCK
that was in my
for a
head where I
reason.
played Warcraft
He just
3,
lives in
and
there. And I'm looking forward to seeing whether he's
50%
gonna
win
work
rate
once
is really
again
low in
here
that
for
game,
T1.
whereas
You can
like
see Faker
50%
not
win
in,
rate in League of
rescue
Legends
mode
is
just yet.
you're like
Still
above
getting things
50%. Oh,
sorted
you're
out.
good.
Will be
So
downloaded
that's not
soon,
very
you could
difficult to
imagine.
obtain.
Stoic Gumayushi here.
Rank doesn't really
Wow.
matter to me. It doesn't show macro or game knowledge. It just shows mechanics that you've put in more time to master one champion.
Champions for owner was the Poppy.
You can't really be challenger and only play like Vi every couple weeks or once a week. You gotta play and grind many games over to have the mechanics to be challenger level. But I win a lot more than I lose at whatever rank I'm in, so I know I'm not a loser. I know I have the formula to win whatever rank you are. I think a lot of rank is a hype system from Riot Games anyways, and they kind of control it. But anyways, to get into game number 1 here of T1 versus Nongshim.
Over to T1, and on T1 side, when Nongshim have blue side, to give it to Nongshim adds a level of variance that I think you're not looking for. You're hoping for. And I
So
think
Nongshim are on the red side in this game, even though this is they're the home team, so they could have blue side selection.
An interesting choice here for Nongshim. Oftentimes we do see that, especially like against T1. T1 do
Now
really
I feel
play
like T1 are trolling in this match already. Like there was the whole thing about Faker has COVID, and T1 they all have masks. I feel like they're not being serious, so don't take this match very seriously, whatever the outcome is. I feel like they were told, go out there, boys, and just have fun. Don't even try. I feel like that's what happened in this series. So don't take too much value in it. I already did my thing on my slides that I will give you the link to, or if you're watching now, right here. There's the link to my slides. Oh, that's not the right. I did that wrong. Anyone with link, copy link. They're not all finished, but basically I went ahead and did the draft stuff, the matchups. So trying to just show you how I would look at these, that there's like priority.
Banning away trees are a lot of teams here in the LCK.
So Nongshim is most worried about Maokai, for example.
Here in Pick-a-Ban, let's see what that first one is for Nongshim. Start to get an idea as to why this red side was chosen.
Yeah, we will get an idea shortly. I do wonder, I was talking to you guys about it during the break between series about Jiwoo playing the Smolder. He's hovered it a lot.
So,
He's teased that he might
T1 they're worried about Sylvie, the jungler from Nongshim. That's who they're most worried about. Where, I don't know, this Ashe keeps being a top priority ban here lately. I don't know if it's... I saw Barrow flexed it to support, so that might be some of the reason, but it's like a counter to Ezreal. And Ezreal was just nerfed on this patch, but it looks like it doesn't matter. He's still very strong. It's just his late game damage isn't as good. People are terrified of playing into Faker's Azir no matter what day it is.
But also, I mean, it just kind of fits. It really does fit how Zeus likes to play the game. And so I think that you have to ban it, otherwise you'll probably lose the game.
But what if he gets Rumble? Don't you also...
I don't know why they're Renekton. I think some of it is Renekton allows a lot of time where he can 1 versus 2 and survive, and then you can come in and do some type of teleport flank play while he's skirmishing maybe 1, 2, 3 enemies, and then
matchup. You can
your
buy a
teammates
lot of
have
space and
enough
distance
time
with
to
the
come in
weirding.
and teleport
We'll
or
see how that
roam
plays out, but I
over
expect that the Rumble will
and
come through
outnumber
unless
the
they have
enemy that
something
you're
else
skirmishing
in mind.
against
I mean,
and
they
make
left
up
this
for
Aurora
it
up for
and
a
win the
reason,
fight. So I
and
think
we're gonna
that's
find
one
out
reason
what
why
that
they're
is, or we
Renekton.
won't, and we'll be
He
really
may be
disappointed.
really good
But
at
I
getting the
expect
void
that we're about
grubs
to
as
find
well
out.
because of his
Rumble
Q.
comes first.
It is
Help him get
technically
the
not a good matchup.
secure the void grubs.
Into the Rumble, as you say, according to
Trying to
solo
give you
queue
some
statistics that I have in
logics.
front of
Some
me. Well,
people out there in the
that's all I have
scene
really
think
to go on.
Renekton's a
47%
horrible
win
champion
rate
and they're
for
tired of
Focus,
seeing him.
or
So
something like
T1
that,
let the
as
Rumble
that is
through
just
for
Rumble
one thing.
Yone.
Like Rumble
Just
is,
smash
most people
right
say, the
down,
most OP
straight in there.
top laner right now, especially with the void grubs and then the ignite that he's really difficult to lane into. Top lane seems pretty difficult this year now that we've got the void grubs. Toughest
We'll see
lane.
what Faker is going to do with a face-up
Which I have a
choice here for Fisher.
great
Yeah,
win
and
record
Miz
in
went
top
straight
lane.
into solo lanes
I'm
here.
good
They're
at
gonna
top
leave
lane.
the
I
AD
just
carry
feel like I
picks, and
can
bottom picks just in general for last, which is
do more
you
for our
expect on
team
red
if I
side for a
jungle.
team
I
like
can
Nongshim.
kind of
Red
shot
Doors,
call and control the
Senna,
game. So
looking like it might just get locked in here early.
basically
Might go
why I
Senna
jungle.
Ornn and say we've got a strong bottom lane. We have
a lot
great
of times I
scaling
top
with this.
lane, I get a jungler that
And
doesn't
when
know
you
what
put
he's
up the
doing. He
Aurora
doesn't know to take the
ultimate,
dragon,
the
doesn't know
Ornn
to
value
take the
also
void
goes up in
grubs,
that,
and then
circle
we lose
there
in
to
30
be
or
able to
40
set the
minutes, and
Ornn.
it
Ornn,
feels
the
like a
Ornn
waste of
commit setup.
time to me.
Zeus closing the gap and putting the
So
ultimate
they
down.
also
So
banned
definitely some
Vi,
inherent
which
synergy there, but it does mean that you're
it's kind of like
blinding a relatively counterable bottom lane.
you
The
worrying
cool thing
about
this, though, is on
Sejuani
red side, there's
then.
only one pick left. Could be also bottom here farming as well.
Yone has been
we have
good
seen that
into
in the past,
Corki,
and that is
even
just
though
gonna
the
be locked in.
stats
Of
say
course,
that
Faker did play this
Corki
in
counters
AWC,
Yone. Chovy struggled
pretty great
into
effect as well. And
Yone the other
the
day when he's
brothers
playing into
matchup,
Sitab.
the
Go back and
twin
watch
brother
my
battle in the
VOD
mid
review.
lane. Isn't
He
my
struggled
solo
into
queue
Yasuo as
experience
well,
manifesting
into
in the
Corki.
LCK?
It was a
Oh,
game
it
where,
is.
or it was a
It's
series
absolutely
where
gorgeous
Chovy
as
didn't
Lilian,
bully
the
somebody and wasn't
consideration
ahead
here
of
for
him by
Sylvie.
20 CS.
Taking a little bit of a leaf out of the
So we
canyon
get
book,
Aurora.
as
I don't
like
know
to
too much
say,
about
the
Aurora. I
quality
played
book.
one game and I got a
He was
VOD
the,
of it
Lilian
where
guy before that.
my
Instead, it's
team
gonna be a
got
Sylvie
stomped
special.
in
In
15
the
minutes,
Viego, of
and
course,
I
no
thought,
stranger
wow,
to that.
Aurora
We'll
is
see
very
what's going to be
OP'd.
into it as we head into
Some
the
people
second
out
round
on
of bans.
social
Yeah,
media
so
say she's
the fact that
not
this
strong
Yasuo
and
is a
all, but
very
I
strong
think she's
flex
very
here
strong.
means that it's very tricky here in the second
I
ban
think
phase
every
to
new
try to
champion is
figure out
always
what
OP'd, and
T1
they
are gonna do.
make
I
them
think
that
picking
way
Ornn is
and
still
then
a safe
fine
bet
tune them.
because I wouldn't want to play into Ornn with this draft necessarily, especially with the Aurora
So we get
there.
Viego.
So even if they were going to maybe put that Yasuo into the bottom lane, it could be a strong ban. The Diana works well with this comp, and the jungle is still open, and it's an owner specialty. So I
Guess
think
maybe
that's
the
wise.
Diana
I think
would counter
Diana
the
Poppy
Rumble,
could be
counter
decent
AP
bans here.
champions.
Owner's Poppy has been so incredibly good, and it has a knock-up and a knockback, and has multiple ways.
I don't
to
know
make
what
Yasuo
would Diana into Viego look like. I may even have the stats on my notes. Diana wins against Viego 48% of the time. What about in the Rumble? Looks like she counters Aurora. Looks like they don't even play Rumble in solo queue because he's permanently banned. Unless I passed him up. I don't see that little Yordle. I don't see, he must be like permanently banned in solo queue. So I don't see him. Oh well. As we moving forward, as the great Willy Wonka says, I don't have all night to do this.
Trying to make sure that the young man is as uncomfortable as
I got match number 75 ahead of me that's going to take a long time to VOD review,
I think it is still a good idea.
which I think is important because Gen G is now not undefeated and they lost to KT today.
Center has been incredibly good.
Senna Nautilus still
You don't want the Ornn and Senna combo, so the Ornn is obvious ban here.
Get the jump on Nongshim with this one because
Alistar must be good into Senna.
Away here, which is fantastic.
But again, I have most of these already set up. But I just did the basic ones of the lane matchups. on. I guess they don't. I'm looking for Senna, which you don't really see Senna as a support. She's normally played as the AD. And then you play a tank. And it allows the tank to get some farm. That's one of the neat things about Senna.
With the setup they already have with Yone and the Rumble.
Is a good
So I
champion
like that
design and
quite a
something
bit.
different.
To get an idea here, it's just looking like an Ezreal lock-in here, which means that you're not going to have that much pressure necessarily into the Senna lane, but it is going to be a good
So
scaling
I like to
later on
look
as
at the
well as
stats
objective
too.
poke.
Like, well, what is
true,
Ezreal
and
into
I think they're almost
Yasuo?
guaranteed to get Leona if they want it.
Oh.
They don't need to lock away that if they want to lock that one down, just because Leona
Kai'Sa.
Senna isn't really a thing.
No, it's not. Also, Kai'Sa feels much worse into Aurora. Ezreal can at least...
What is Kai'Sa into Yasuo? Because he would block her good bit of her stuff, right, with his wind wall. That says Kai'Sa's good into Yasuo. All right. I don't know what all his wind wall blocks. It used to be like it blocked everything when he came out, and now they've nerfed it and changed it.
And the Killer Instinct, I believe, is counted as a dash, and that is not necessarily
That's a
what you want.
Hecarim.
That is a Hecarim.
Hecarim would be cool, right? Because we haven't
It's
seen
okay,
him in
we'll
a
have to
while.
pass
It
it,
would
play
be
something
something
else, right?
different.
Yeah.
But we get Kennen.
I was worried for like maybe half a second, but I was like, nah, that won't do it to us.
Kennen counters Rumble.
It does
Wait.
start to look like maybe
Wait a
Yasuo
second.
bottom.
Kennen wins
on.
against
Who
Rumble
is the
78% of the
King
time.
Chef?
Wukong
I believe that's
is
Keria.
not good into
You
Viego.
might just
That was
have-
based on one game. I couldn't find any
well,
stats.
Aurora,
Aurora
Senna,
versus
bottom.
Yone. Aurora wins against
Or
Yone
it's
54% of the
Kennen
time.
Support,
Kai'Sa wins against Yasuo 58% of the time, and Senna wins against Rel 33% of the time. So Nongshim end up picking the Senna counter, which is Rel.
Jungle this game, actually. A little bit strange. Well,
And
Rel is
Wukong
gonna be
was buffed
considered,
a little bit
and
on
I
this
wanna focus
patch,
on
so we
Nongshim
may
because that
start
is
seeing
an
him.
opposition I understand. We've seen
I feel
this
like
one
T1
many,
was
many
limit
times.
testing
The
in this
idea is
series.
hold them in a position, burn them a lot, and then use the ultimate from Mr. Yone
So-
to hold them in position even more.
Skuma Yasuo, I think, with Faker playing the Aurora mid, and Zeus is going to go top lane into the Rumble here with this one. Just not happy to play the Aurora into Rumble, keeping this one a little bit close to the chest until the all of these T1 is up. See if you're
Let's go ahead and get into the game.
Sticking one, the Leona you were talking about. I would
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. I will catch you up.
So again, the way I look at this, and going back into my mini-map stuff, Riot doesn't show this for some reason. It's like they don't want players to learn to pay attention to the beginning of this match or something. Like there's information they don't want the fan base to know or see. But we've got a sweeper lens in the bottom lane on Rel, so that tells me this is going to be an aggressive dive lane that like Viego come in down here and help dive and take out this ward. Guma has exhaust. You need exhaust for Kennen. It helps stop his ultimate. So this is the second game of Aurora mid that I can remember now. Bulldog was the first one I saw
One of those
play.
games includes Aurora,
Looks like,
and prior to his more recent loss.
see what was going on. Again, I'm usually looking at the mini map, so that's what I'm trying to help teach. If you want to get to the next level, to not pay attention to your champion and what's going on, but pay attention to your teammates and your mini map. You get to a point you don't need to look at the champion and what it does. You play so much, you know what they look like, you know what the abilities do. So that's what you're trying to practice.
6-game winning streak in solo.
I don't really play for fun. Like, it's kind of work to me. I'm trying to improve things when I play.
One of those games includes Aurora, and
So normally, like I talk about, there's the ward that you call the faker ward, where you put it in the enemy raptor. I would say that's what's going on here. That Rel's up here to help protect. Unfortunately, now also there's a ward. Maybe Rel got this ward down here, went back and changed out for the sweeper lens already, and looks like that must be what Sin is doing as well. So, so then they can dive as well or prevent the dive.
prior to his more recent loss, which was just a game of...
Yeah.
Includes Aurora, and prior to...
I don't really know how to show this on the slides very well. Again, I'm going to start making better slides like this, but let's see. I'm looking at the mini map. This picture of Guma doesn't really do me any good. That's not what I wanted, because I wanted it highlighted. I also messed this up because Zayas has one here, or that I think that's owner's word. So I got to redo this picture. Again, this is what pro teams do, is this type of stuff here. So it's what they do. Probably better with a second monitor.
To his more recent loss, which was just a game of Arena. He actually won again on the Aurora as well. So he's on a
So like I've shown in StarCraft, Warcraft 3, you're trying to get enemy information.
That's good to know.
Problem with this game when you're watching the pro matches is you're not seeing much of the map dark. It's all almost lit up from all 10 players.
He's probably
You know,
also playing it because he generally just plays mid in solo queue, if you have a look. I don't know whether that's still the case.
only like this much is dark, and this much is dark, and this much is dark.
This matchup,
Now look at the mini map I was showing you earlier, how dark it was through the whole map. So we get a lane swap here.
So trying to get some big advantages early. The matchup with the Aurora into the Yone is
Because Kennen is the rumble counter, so Nongshim's worried about the Kennen.
Can actually, you know, kind of take a hit and then trade really well with
And
it,
I guess they're not.
space with weirding as well.
Well, I guess they're also worried about the Yasuo, maybe in the center. The Rel's supposed to counter Senna though, so they're probably more concerned about the Kennen getting ahead into the rumble.
Top laners aren't allowed to farm.
What's cool is he didn't take the Ignite. I don't like Ignite on the rumble. I like the teleport better later on. I was gonna say Guma didn't do it in this game. And I think the top laners are still trying to learn exactly where to go or where to be. They don't really know in this meta. They used to follow the jungler around when they did this and get XP.
His first pick because it's just banned every game, so it's not on him, it's just on the meta. It is.
So I'm watching like Owner and the jungle route he was doing because I've shown it in my streams. Where I jungle, so I'm trying to pay attention to like what goes on. Normally you clear a jungle clear by like 4 minutes and go back and get your first set of items. Usually like a long sword and a ruby crystal, and then a control ward, or if you're AP, you get the Faded Ashes or Ashes. Yeah, Faded Ashes. The little urn looking thing.
Getting closer every year. You know, we step one or two closer.
Man, I can't wait for Faker to have played every single
Faker
champion
is
We're getting close, you know?
I mean,
getting some help from Zeus here. Just some, maybe getting some XP too. Slowly trying to get some XP advantages. But what was the stat again of Aurora and the Yone? Aurora wins against Yone 54% of the time.
That close. There's a lot of champions in the
we
game.
finally got our Garen, you know? We finally had all of the champions played in the LCK.
I didn't see who put this ward
time
down. I would like to see. I'm guessing that was Kennon's ward there, but who put this ward in this brush? That's Rumble's ward. Trying to help Shay better ward placements. So this will allow this lane to be more aggressive, right? This must be Viego's ward. I circled the wrong guy. No, I didn't. Okay, I didn't circle him. I don't know what like this information will really show you much for solo queue, right? Viego ward. Just trying to show you how important the warding is, and you play off that information. Just trying to make some extra slides.
It's his first pick because it's just banned every game, so it's not on him. It's just on the meta.
it is.
Thought about not doing any vision slides, but it's part of the show, so I gotta do it.
Faker's 77th champion. Here we go.
Getting close to 80. We're getting closer every year. You know, we step one or two closer.
Man, I
You know, I missed one. That was Kennon's
can't
ward.
wait for Faker to have played every single
Rel's
champion.
on top of right
We're
now.
getting close. You know.
You see, like, Rel's on top of this ward, but... And I don't know if she knows or not. Now she's got the sweeper lens, or vital. But in this situation here... To T1, this looks like you only see 4 people on the map. So if you're T1, you have to assume that you step anywhere where it's dark, like where owner is over here, or over in here, like if owner went into this side of the jungle, you have to assume that they're there. Because you can get taken down. So I guess like I would just show the picture, like I don't know if T1 right now knows Rel's there. I'm sure that Rel's gonna, or yeah, T1 know Rel's there because he's sitting on the blue ward. What I'm saying is I don't, like Nongshim will probably sweep this ward out here in a minute, and then they won't be able to see Rel. So I was just trying to think how to put this into notes. Like Rel is on a ward. Zeus. So if you play the CS like I preach, you practice in the practice tool, practice in solo queue. You're gonna have to practice and play a lot if you want to get really good. I've played a lot, so not saying I'm good, but for how much I play, I'm really good, and my mechanics. And if you do that and you play off the vision, you should win a lot more games and reach the next level.
You know, I mean, not that close. There's a lot of champions in the game.
We finally got our Garen, you know? We finally had all of the champions.
I think
played
Rel
in
is
the
standing there
LCK
too
by
to get
someone at least.
extra XP.
Last
for
time we did see this was
probably soaking
Nongshim
up XP.
actually against.
Oh god, yeah, I kind of remember that game. We were not happy about the pick, and it didn't do well. And
Was this
Never
like,
swept out
part of
that
the
ward.
experimentation that we saw happen
So
with,
T1
some of the
does
options when
know
it was,
where
like, the
Rel
UV
is, or
lanes
that
being
Rel is
completely
recalling.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so it was Yasuo and maybe something like a Sejuani in the bottom
Know where
lane
Kai'Sa
that we
is
saw be very
now.
popular. It was who was it? It was, I believe, Ruler and Lahens.
So that was a
were
very
playing
good ward
quite a
from
lot
Zeus
on
that he
Gen
left
G, but,
behind.
my old man brain might be struggling to remember.
yeah, we saw a lot of weird stuff like that. Taking a look at the game state, by the way, T1 obviously with no plate protection here are gonna do a lot. Rumble is, you know, just Rumble, so it's hard for him to take plates quickly in general.
I don't know if
He
like
is going
Faker's
to get
struggling.
one.
He may
That'll be the
be
TP.
struggling. He's sick.
Cannon
They
comes back
say
to your
he's
top side.
tested
Zeus
positive for
needs some other
COVID.
experience too, so there's no big gap here
They've
in XP.
had a lot of
T1
help
really
show
won
up
out on
here
this
in the
one.
mid lane today.
It's tough to play Kai'Sa into Yasuo's
I don't
side,
know if
obviously,
T1's
but,
like, we need to help
you know,
Faker
this
more.
one doesn't really hit the mark too much for me
And
because
so they're trying
they're
to
just not
change some play style up
Yeah.
that's
to
kind of the end of the story
make
for me on this
Faker
one. I'm not
realize
super
that he
happy
doesn't
with
have
how
to
they
put so
rounded
much
this draft
pressure on
out.
his back, that
Can
he's
work
got
out if
4
you're not fighting into
teammates
the
that
Aurora.
he
If
doesn't
it's
have
something
to
that's gonna
carry the
break
game
skirmishing and
alone.
You can potentially blow up the
Now we
cannon
got a
behind
bunch of
him,
wards from.
if you get a lead, but that's a lot of.
It's gonna put like. But Rel and Kai'Sa got spotted out. So T1 knew they were gonna lane swap. Some of this is practice for me, so I can get better at this. I'm not very good at drawing these circles. I think this reset too. I had it on. Yeah. So this would be like the second round of wards from the players, because their trinkets have already redone them or reprocced. I don't know. You can go back and look and see where the pro players put the wards. If you don't know where to put the wards, you can kind of look at the picture and figure out, well, they needed this ward here for a certain amount of pressure, so this lane doesn't get dove or whatever. You know, there's many different reasonings why.
Ifs. The thing is, it's going to be about where Jiwoo is positioned at the beginning of these fights. Because
Faker's
if Faker
ahead by
ever
13
finds the
CS.
Kai'Sa before
The top laners are.
A little bit difficult here,
What am I
Cap.
doing here? The top laners are, you know, pretty good bit behind right now. Also, you look at the levels. I guess they're not so far behind in the levels, but the gold for items, 12 CS to 33 and 24.
area, just laning alongside Faker in the mid lane.
Yeah, and Fisher doesn't even get to try to trade or anything like that. It's just not been a fair fight for him early. And
It's looking like
obviously
T1
Electric
set
Team-
up to take the
I know it's
Dragon
new
at
Wolf
5
Profile,
minutes
like,
if
it's
they
really
want
popping right
to.
now, but it's really
I don't think Wukong can go down and solo the dragon at early though.
strong on Aurora.
Whereas like Nidalee can and
specifically
Bai
as well, so
can.
he's just stacking the damage early, and it is a.
I don't know.
really
I'd have to
tough
test
time.
it in solo
Top
queue.
side here, Zeus falling a little bit behind, but it's a low eco top lane. We'll be able to hold.
I would think with a ruby crystal and a long sword and a health pot that Wukong could go over there and solo the dragon at 5 minutes if he wanted.
Ignite or anything like that.
Ow.
Yeah.
I know that Vine Italy can do it at 5 minutes without items. So we had a pause, keyboard issue, and we're just gonna skip right on through.
I see red like on the our eyes. Always thought
He's actually blue.
Anybody ever tried these? These are Korean. The only problem is you get oil. They've got like sunflower oil. Sorry, I needed a snack. It's part of my problem. I spend so long streaming or working on these, and then I'm hungry, but I gotta do the show. There's a lot of show prep in this.
yeah, or at least from what would be blue for me.
So we've got Yon teleporting in.
All right, let's stop this. Now we're back in the game.
I'm so incredibly confused.
I'll be done with
Zeus
my snack in a
on the
second.
red side, actually. That's my question. But we can go back to just regular gameplay because we're back into it. Sylvie going to come in. Does spot out Zeus here. He is going to have that back stopped. Owner in position. Sylvie gets out of the mist and gets out of the area as well. Stopping that back, I think, kind of important, especially considering the fact that Zeus doesn't have teleport. So might have to go for a more inopportune.
We got a battle over the Void Grubs. It looks like nobody took the dragon. There's no vision down in the bottom.
It's actually Fisher that's able to come out ahead in one of these trades here. We do cut the video so we don't see that cannon minion dying to a melee. And that is definitely a good thing because that would have made us all a little bit sad.
I didn't check the number on the CS. And
I don't know. Wukong might be weak for doing early objectives. He has. I know he has a pretty difficult time in the first clear.
Like maybe he got it. I'm just gonna keep that, you know,
in the back of your mind.
I'm just gonna keep it open that maybe Zeus in fact did hit that cannon. This is what.
All right, I was getting really hungry all of a sudden. And I used to be really down on streamers. I'd watch Yamada Cannon and tune into his stream and be like, that guy's eating every time I like sushi, or he's always eating. And then I think I've watched Monte Cristo and he's eating on stream. These guys are always eating, but you sit here and do it for 4 or 5 hours every day. It starts to get to you and you're hungry. It starts to make you hungry once you start doing it and get into it.
This is what Jonas
You're
Strong needs
using
to
up
do.
so
He
much
needs to
energy
make
all
sure
at
that he
one
keeps the
time.
mystery every single time. And then we just won't know. We won't need to type -1 in the chat. Stop typing -1 in the chat.
Now
We don't
I'm
know.
like weird. I got
Okay?
sunflower
Yeah,
oil
-1
on my
Yeah, exactly. -1 question mark. Exactly.
fingers from those. I get it's not gonna hurt my
Mile-
Corsair
There's
K70 whatever
I actually think
keyboard
that,
that
Sylvie being up
it's like
there to stop the back
$125.
really worked
The
out.
keys are
That
starting to
whole
wear
wave
out
attack
already.
actually
I've had it
leaves
for
no
2
cannon
years.
in it either.
So I'm gonna have to
Mile,
upgrade.
with his teleport up and available, he gets a hold on to that. He is going to build Mercury's Tread, so there's somewhere.
Not like
very
a
sad
lot
that
has
he-
gone
and
on.
we're sad that,
It's a pretty even game,
not here.
except
But,
Nongshim
you
got
know,
the
it's a
Void
good-
Grubs,
it's a good
which will
food purchase for the
help
Iceland
out
matchup.
the Rumble a lot
Obviously,
in the
later
Kennen
on in
matchup.
versus-
Again, we looked at the stats from solo queue and it said we're looking for Kennen. Rumble wins against Kennen 49% of the times, and that's from 553 games. But I do think the stats get skewed based on the Void Grub.
His damage
So,
output, but
Double
This
A
should
kill,
help
so
out
it's
Rumble a
gonna
good
do
bit now.
double,
He's got
Judy.
Mercury
it's
Treads,
quite a
Doran's Ring.
value item, I think, in this
Starts with
scenario.
Doran's Ring.
I still would have preferred the Sword Boots just for what it means later on, but it is a safe purchase, let's say. So Zeus will
But somebody
come
should
back
be
to
going
lane
for the
here.
dragon.
Yeah,
And
this
again,
might
I
not be
think
massive
T1
CS
is
or
like
anything like that,
just
but it
in
takes a lot
fun
of
mode
farm
where they
away
were
from
like
what
the
no
coaching
reason to
staff
hold them actually.
Just go
I
out
was
and have
tying
fun,
my shoe.
guys. They let Guma play a champion he wants to play all the time. Plays a lot in solo queue, so they let him play
No, I just
Yasuo.
told you that I wasn't tying my shoe.
Oh.
I didn't tell you anything.
So
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
I don't take too much value out of this match.
I would question the changes to Rumble that recently happened that did have
The results were cool
stated
for
that
Nongshim. They
it
really
was
needed
still,
this
easier to
series
log in.
win.
Mahal begs to differ.
Yeah, well, it is what it
Baker's
is.
getting to
Yeah,
try a new champion out.
It's okay. These are the small
Probably-
things that we don't sweat. We don't sweat the small things like.
I
turret
doubt it's
issues
fun to
or-
him because
or-
it's a
or
job,
really being
but
a-
at least makes him have a little bit of a better day.
we just go on and we continue to commentate the game. As Keria and Guma are really putting the pressure on here. You can see why Jiwoo tried to lane swap and.
Do have two
the turret is
control
kind of
wards.
gone.
Two control wards from Nongshim. Two control wards from T1. So this would probably be like the third round of warding. I don't want to spend 3 hours on this. So explaining why, or being like, well, this lane needs this pressure here because of this.
Yeah, it is really,
Mostly gone.
It's really taken a beating here on the bottom.
Let's see. We have 3 sweeper lens on T1, and we've got just 2 on
But
Nongshim.
it's actually one of the more aggressive center lanes that we've seen. Oftentimes, it's weathering the storm that the center likes to do. I guess maybe not when it's Keria piloting the champion. Of course, she is going to be changed, a lot more of a an enchanter type champion.
Yeah, not
Building a
gonna
whole bunch of different stuff that she doesn't build now. So I think maybe we'll have to get used to this if center remains.
Don't think you
in
can
the meta.
dive the cannon.
Certainly a pretty high chance that it will
He's
be
got
a
the
very
ultimate
different
up.
look as
So
Mihal pushes
I
another
think
wave.
Viego
Wants to
was
get that
thinking
plate
about
pulled
diving
up
cannon,
here.
but he backed
He's
off.
not necessarily going to get said plate, but we're going to cut the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these
And
teams know when
Bottom lane is kind
they-
of a shambles.
And I used to do this on my stream, and I just haven't had time. And you can go back and look, but I would actually spend so much time in my prep or my VOD reviews that I would show you in seconds, or not seconds, but minutes, and I would put the actual minutes of the ultimates. So then you would know the exact timing and be able to learn how to do the timing. As I say, like my cooldown card from 2023, where I look at it, it's like, well, what is Flash's cooldown? And you go and look, and you look in the game, and it goes, well, 300 seconds. Well, when you look at the clock, it's in minutes. So you'd have to be able to do some type of advanced math to know, well, 300 seconds is how long? Well, it's 5 minutes, right? So you got to be able to do the math. Well, like if my flash went down right now, well, you would have to know that at 14:09 it will be back up. And as soon as you know that, then you could make a play on me if I overextend or in a team fight and kill me. And I used to really go into all that, spend all that time, but most people don't care or look at it, so it's kind of like a waste of my time.
Yeah.
I
I'm
guess
actually
that
feeling
if
happy
I
about
get
this,
some
though,
extra time, I
because,
could
I'm
add
sorry
that to
about
my
this,
content
Chef,
or
but
talk
we
about
don't
it
get
some more.
the Senna CS Keck Ws anymore.
But I would
No, I
go
know,
and
it's
figure
because
out
she's
all these
sport.
ultimates
Yeah,
before the game.
it is weird, but
Let me see real quick. View my channel, videos, and you go like, I used to put all of these notes in my stuff. Oh look, I even made the next level with Sodaron back then. And I would give you the notes here. And figure out all these timings and stuff. But I guess people don't care. See, I would figure all these out, the Ari ult, and when they would be back up. Looks like people don't care, so why spend all that time? Because that's what you guys, if you want to reach the next level, you need to know this stuff. Look at all that time I spent. That's how you know when to make the plays. So I spent a lot of time and it didn't really do any good or help me, so. But if you want to reach the next level, that's what you need to do. You know, like Wonder in this game. Like the most majority of League of Legends fans and people in the scene that I've talked to or tried to reach have been so mean to me that it's like, why would I care? Or unappreciative. Or you try to be nice and like reach out to people and I'll help you with something and they treat you like you're a jerk. So why care? So it's like Armut used his TP at 3 minutes and 48 seconds. Well, it will be back up at 9 minutes and 48 seconds. That's where you make your play on that. You make some type of play around the map. Like do a dragon bottom so he can't come down and take it. There's a window now in these games where the top laners always use their teleport and it's not up when it's time to take the dragon that you could save your teleport. If you're a top laner, teleport down to bottom, help take the dragon. I did the wrong thing.
This game, I guess, in a lot of ways.
Oh, Sylvie sort of dancing around this passive stacked up, so he's
I know. I gotta remember where we were now.
Counterable bottom lane. The cool thing about this, though, is on red side, there's only one pick left. Could be us.
Happy and proud of ourselves. And after the last game, all the
I'll
coaches
get back
have
into the right spot.
jumped to the stage and hugged the players.
I'm just
Did they also give you any
not at my
compliments?
top of my game today, and
Falling a little bit behind, but it's a low eco top lane. We'll be able to hold it.
so we were around this timing. Speaking of timing, we were around 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Okay.
In shambles, mid lane, pretty in shambles. I feel like Fisher recovered pretty well after Guma's, or rather, Karia's roam. So used to Guma playing the Senna.
Yeah.
So
I'm
we've
actually
got the
really happy about this, though,
Yasuo
because, and I'm sorry about this,
Senna
but
looking like
we
it's
don't
doing
get
okay
Senna
into
CS
the
Tech Ws anymore.
Kai'Sa
No,
Rel.
she's a support.
Yeah.
It's I don't know why no team has taken the dragon yet. I would think that like T1 I think are waiting for Nongshim to take the dragon. And like I said, I think they're kind of trolling and just seeing what they can get away with. So they're not even attempting to take dragons. So I'm talking about
Even though it's
I don't know why Nongshim's not attempted now. I guess their bottom lane did have all that pressure right now. So
I feel like
that's
today
one
has been
reason.
a little bit of a topsy-turvy one.
But they could make some type of play. Millie has his teleport, so
As
Rumble could come in
is
and
going to
help.
face check here. He had the sweeper, so he had the information.
So one thing too, Kai'Sa takes exhaust, which she'll need for the Yasuo and the Kennen.
But not a whole lot of options. Uses the heal, uses the piercing darkness, and he gets himself out of there. Good.
And just Keria and Guma were overextended. Over the line, I talk about all the time. And after a while, you get tired of preaching about it.
As Carrier.
That's why it's a job.
Options, uses the face check in a little bit of a topsy-turvy one.
So I wanted the line to come back, but whatever. So Guma and Senna, there's probably a better picture here, but they were overextended and they're getting punished. And they don't have any vision down here. They don't have any vision over here. No vision over here. Unless Carrier comes and puts a ward there, but Viego's going to come around and gank. Yasuo's roaming down to gank. So this is what we call punished. And normally I just put like at 9, 41, Yasuo, punished, Yasuo, and punished for being overextended. Those were salty seaweed wraps, by the way. There's teriyaki and salty. So sorry if I'm a little salty right now. I just ate a good bit of salt all at once.
He is going to face check here. He had the sweeper, so he had the information, but not a whole lot of options. Uses the heal, uses the piercing dart.
So Carrier gets punished here. I think I like the thin one the best. Faker just used his exhaust, I guess. Or no, that was Guma's exhaust. What am I talking about? Faker's teleport is down. Zeus can come down and help with a dragon fight right now. Millie can come down and help with a dragon fight right now. Kaiser's teleport. I'm saying this because this is a great time to take dragon if you're a solo queue player.
And he gets himself out of there. Gumayushi, on the other hand, having to deal with a lot of different people. The ulti comes through.
I don't think that Yon really needed to do... There's a mistake right there. I don't think Yon needed to use his ult. He could have saved it. I don't know the cooldown timer off the top of my head. I would know 2 years ago when you asked me, and I would go and show you my coaching notes. So I'd know it right off the top of my head, but I don't really... do the coaching stuff right now, so I was probably going to say something really salty, but backed off from it.
He was kind of solo queue.
I was going to say I don't really get the feedback and appreciation from my content, so I don't know why I should even spend more time doing it or not.
Yeah, so he was like, wait, I killed 3 people. Carrie was like, hey, I'm dead. He's like kind of danger pinging him.
Because like if I asked you, well, what's Yon's cooldown timer? You would be like, I don't know. Roughly like 3 minutes. A lot of them are like 3 to 5 minutes. 120 seconds. So it's what, 2 minutes? So now Yon has a 2-minute window before his ultimate's back up. So that's where, again, like the notes I was showing you. So if you're T1, Yon used his ult there. In chat, you type like Yon at... And this is off by like 14 seconds. So Yon at like 12. And then they know that Yon's ult is down. So now you try to gank him mid lane. If he's overextended anytime, he does have flash. And you've got to know all this information if you're these pro players and you're higher ranked and you want to get to the next level. You got to know all this stuff. So... that's when you make a play on Yon. You know his ult's down, and if he's overextended in mid lane, he does have flash, so you're going to have to probably be like a 1 versus 3 situation to be able to take him down without flash, or you're going to need 2 flashes. But just examples of making a play. You don't just kill people for the sake of it because it's fun. I don't think killing people is fun. It kind of depresses me, the state of the world. But I'm not here to be depressive. I'm here to help you reach the next level.
Yeah, he's definitely dead.
So Guma burns his exhaust on Jiwoo, and T1 don't receive anything for that. But I was just saying, I don't think Jiwoo needed his ult there. Like that was a... or Jiwoo, my bad, Fisher, Yon. Like, I don't really think he needed to invest his ult right there. May have needed it later, or maybe T1 could have made a play before that window's back up.
That the grubs are being taken and isn't going to be able to stop that from occurring. Unless Mahal comes down, level 8, equalizer in hand.
So we've got the supports roaming around again.
Get one of them, but it looks like Sylvie's just not interested. And Faker,
Didn't I
because
say
of that
Kaiser's
broke
good in the
Fisher had,
Yasuo? Kaiser wins into the Yasuo matchup. 58 or no, yeah, okay. Yasuo wins against Kaiser. What? I got mixed up earlier at the beginning of the stream, so I'm sorry. I read the information wrong. I was gonna say, wouldn't Yasuo counter Kaiser because of the wind wall and her R and her poke from her Q and her W? And yeah, so Yasuo is good by himself down here. I'm sorry. Part of the VOD, I got that information wrong, and that's I was like questioning it in my head, like these stats aren't right.
in the gold, right? T1,
It's common sense.
lose first blood, but
Here's a good ward like Faker had there. I think that's I don't know whose ward that is. Guessing that was a Senna ward. But this is always, if you're a mid laner and don't know where to put the ward, putting it in the middle of the lane's a good spot actually.
Fisher had, and as you can see in the gold, right, T1, they do lose first blood.
Allows you to see the wave before
Doesn't seem to
it
be
crashes.
too much of an issue here. Still almost 1,000 gold in the lead just by how these lanes
So we've got Rel putting a ward on
been
top of a
going.
ward.
And Gumayushi, even though Yasuo somewhat outranged, I guess,
Carrier does some
by
working.
a lot of champions.
Gets it out of there.
Just ranged in general doesn't really matter. The amount of pressure that
So here is a dive coming in the top lane. Fisher has teleport. Fisher doesn't have ultimate up yet.
this bottom lane can put on is
Fisher's also overextended right now, so this is like the time to make a play on him. Because his ult's down. He does have flash though, so you would have to have some type of probably flash to invest to take him down. But he is overextended and doesn't have ult, so he would be somebody to make a play on.
still extraordinarily high.
Yeah, and when you have a Senna to help sustain it as well, and the wind wall can block some of that damage. Plus, it's almost similar to like a Draven lane where you're like, well, if I can auto you, even with my low range, I will win the trades, and he does, and he.
I'm pretty sure Faker would know the timing on Fisher's ult and when it would be back up.
Zeus with a fancy footwork here.
So Sylvie was waiting for Zeus to use his ultimate.
Yeah, able to sidestep. Sylvie's coming up though. It's going to be a 2v2 as the equalizer sort of goes back.
So here comes Fisher and his ultimate is up. So great time for Nongshim to make a play. And we have Faker teleporting up here as well.
Ulti from Sylvie, but Zeus is going down low and Mihail able to grab.
First game of Faker professionally with Aurora, so I don't think you can really expect much. He's probably not had too much time to mess with her. It's probably like, this is only my 5th game of Aurora.
Has made his way up as Faker's looking for some cues, and I don't think Ona's getting out of this one. Faker now might be in trouble, but does have a
So Nongshim get Aurora's ultimate out. Again, this is how these teams make plays, is knowing these timings and when they're down. They got Owner's ult and his flash down. Zeus' flash and his ultimate is down. I talked about the other day on the stream the difference between Yone and Yasuo, that Yone is more like a single target champion because of his ult, where Yasuo, because of his ult, can hit multiple targets. So Yasuo's probably better in team fights and more dangerous, and Yone is better at like a 1v1 skirmish or catching an enemy out in the jungle or something out of place, or a lane, winning a lane, winning a side lane.
After bouncing back with the weirding.
Well, Fisher is everywhere. Atlas.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a really rough start to the laning phase, but he's making plays on the map.
They probably invested a lot of time in this VOD already. I start getting on the microphone and I enjoy it. And yeah, an hour and 30 minutes. Looking to see if I should take a break or not. I think this game only went 30 minutes.
Flash actually after Carrier on the bottom side play, so still has it, because if he doesn't have his flash here, I feel like this ends up being very disastrous for Nongshim, but he actually has it here. Zeus using his ult.
Notice how Zeus got an auto attack in. He didn't just ult in. It
Sobi
hit him with an
using
auto
Breaker
before
and
he
is able to
even
flash here to
ulted.
secure the kill, gets the transformation. This buys enough time for Fisher's rotation up.
Also,
And the
those
ultimate here from
teleports help
Faker is
the
used
minion
so early
waves.
that it's just not going to offer
They
any
stop
utility
them,
here.
just
Unfortunately,
freeze
Onar
them.
will also be taken out. So Fisher with 2 kills on this Yone very early on in the game.
Yeah,
So
really nicely
Nongshim
done.
took
Gets
the
flash out
dragon
of
while
things
this
here as well.
replay.
So
These,
the
these
mid lane
replays frustrate me sometimes because I want to see what's going on live in the game. I don't care about the
He
fights
has
that
his
much.
malignance opted into that one, and
But I know most of you fans like that stuff.
Cosmic Drive.
That's
yeah,
what
not gonna
draws
be
you
opting
into
in
the
for
game.
Leandri's just wants that additional damage. Cosmic Drive buffed on
Some of
this
the
patch
plays
as
are
well.
cool. Don't
Yep,
take me the
been a
wrong
bit of
way,
a
but like
favorite
there
for
was
ours,
I
just
guess
in
it didn't
general.
matter. There was no
Difficult
fight
game to
going
say
on.
quickly.
Nongshim just
Not
straight
gonna
up
lie to
took
you,
that
Aurora,
dragon.
It might have something to, does it have something to do with my
There's
accent?
nothing
Is
they
it
could
difficult for
really
everyone?
No, I think it's just hard.
Okay, good.
do,
It's not
right?
just a
Because
mine
Zeus's
universe thing,
teleport
it's an
or
everyone thing.
his
Yeah.
ultimate was down, his flash was down,
No, it's a
Wukong's flash.
We'll get better at it. We'll
So
get better at it, I
that
promise.
dive or skirmish that happened top lane
Bit of
helped
damage here,
Nongshim
Fake
get the
just
dragon.
slips
There's
into
nothing
stealth mode,
T1 could really
and will
do.
just get himself out. Certainly works in this matchup as Zeus finds himself a Q, and the harpoons just go
It
wide.
looks
Man,
like
Zeus'
Guma's just
footwork
having
today.
fun
Yeah,
in
pretty
the bottom
impressive.
lane like he's
Really
wanted to all along.
Quite well, avoiding those harpoons and
Kevin Bacon.
yeah.
You know, Guma has
Really cool.
been
You know,
forced to
on
play
the
a
topic of
lot of
Aurora,
Senna.
I mean, who named the Aurora
And not even
Borealis? That
play
has
it.
got to be one of the worst names.
Last season,
Yeah,
Oh, really hard to say
beginning of
It
this
is
season,
definitely difficult to say. It
where he's
was
probably
funny,
bored
I
and
haven't
not
seen
even
it.
getting to play
So
like
you can't
champions
blame me
that
for
he's
that one.
practiced and
Yeah.
proficient
I don't
on.
even know if they're real. I mean, it might,
So-
just be like something I saw on
I
Google.
imagine
This may
the
be good
person
for
who
his
named it
ego
is
that he's
someone
getting to
from
have
a
fun
far
with like a
northern place.
Yasuo.
Yeah. I mean, if you search unicorns on
So
the
again,
internet,
this
you can find a lot
match
of information
might be
about them.
important, even
Yeah,
if
same for
T1
Aurora Borealis.
lose.
So in my mind,
That
they both, if I haven't seen it, it might just be fake.
like,
I don't know.
Wait,
it's
wait,
pretty
wait,
ridiculous how many games of Senna
I
Ornn
think
that
you know his
T1's
latest
played,
mode.
or that
I think it was Galileo.
Guma
Really?
gets stuck
Yeah,
on
that
Senna
counts. Okay,
duty
respect,
and
though.
playing
I
support,
think we're
where
allowed to
he's
say
a
Galileo.
AD
I
that
think that's
mastered
allowed.
all of these champions that he's really good on,
You know, it's
but
quite
doesn't get to
high.
play. So
I would say so. Even if he wasn't the guy that came up with the whole theory. of
Wukong,
gravity.
I think this game's like a test to see if
Probably
Wukong's
also
strong
figured
enough to
Do
come
you
back
think
in
he
the
would be able to
meta.
identify Nongshim and DRX fell in the standings at the exact same speed? All right, here we go.
So-
He's got the calculation for it. Do we have the calculation?
T1
for whether
decided
or
to take
not
the
Nongshim
Rift
could go
Herald
to this
here. We've got Kennen and Rumble stuck down in the bottom lane while this is going on. And we both have teleport. Now Zeus won't have his flash if he comes in. Some things I don't talk about either is the level difference. So like Yone is level 12 over level 11 Aurora. Really the only big difference.
Right, though, that's the real question.
They make a difference in a team
As-
fight
alright,
though.
I think
Those level
Fish is
differences
saying,
matter.
that's a Magnus Storm.
Guma gets Jwoo, Kai'Sa, and Kai'Sa burns their exhaust on Guma, but
Tries to get in.
probably a poor ultimate from Guma because the point of Yasuo is you want to hit multiple people in that
Real
ultimate.
question. As alright, I think
Let's
Fish
see. He hit Vital with his
is
Q,
saying,
and then
yes, that's a Magnus
he ults Jwoo.
for this fight, though. That's the real question. As alright, I think Fish is saying yes.
But he hits a long Q there. That's, I mean, look how crazy that was. That Guma hit that Q on Kai'Sa that far away. That's crazy. See, like, Guma is a very mechanically gifted player. His brother was a StarCraft player. He knows all about the micro. I've learned some things watching Guma stream when he first came in because he's real big on, like, when you watch him stream and his keyboard, like, he just spams A, like the auto button. He doesn't, like, right click when he's autoing. Like, he just spams the A when he's, even when he's trying to move. He does micro a little bit different from any other AD I've seen, where a lot of them get lazy and right click. And I've learned from him. I do the same thing. I'm always hitting A and auto attack because it's always going to be faster than the right click. So I'm guessing he lands the Q proc with the cloud thing that you can knock somebody up with on Jwoo.
Should go for this fight though. That's the real question.
Jwoo's clear over here. I almost overlooked this. I was just saying that wasn't... He needed to hit multiple targets, but this was a cool play that he made. If he got his Q off on him... Oh, that's the knock. Okay. That was the knock up from the Wukong ult. I was going to say he needed to hold on to... he's still an awesome mechanical player. I was going to say he needs to try to get multiple targets. So I would say like Nongshim know to space apart right here in this team fight, because you don't want to get hit with the Wukong ultimate. Yeah, there's some type of synergy there with the Wukong ultimate. Then if it knocks people up, then you can automatically Yasuo ult them. Then you can get locked down with Kennen ultimate on top of that, like stunned. So in theory, this comp's pretty good from T1. I don't really know what Aurora's kit does. Maybe like an Alistar instead of the Senna would have been better. Made a bigger difference. Because he would still provide some type of heal, and you could headbutt pulverize an area, knock people up. But I'm just saying, like, Nongshim have to stay spaced apart so they don't get multiple hit from the Wukong ult. Then you got to be scared that you're going to get Yasuo ulted on top of that. Like, I think Yone is boring compared to playing Yasuo.
Tries to get in there, but Gumayushi's also going to be
Watching Guma.
Down goes the Rift Herald, but can they keep themselves alive in the fight? That's the question. As Faker and Fish are fighting this one out, Ona does get stunned up. That's going to stop the rest of the battle, but T1 finding a pretty good angle.
That's really the main thing for the Yasuo, or why he's stronger than... I think the Yone individually is stronger. It's just he doesn't have the team fight power where you can hit multiple targets with your ult. So that, in theory, is much stronger in professional play. You're coming team fighting than worrying about winning a lane.
Without him, a lot of the time we see the Kennen obviously in the top side controlling some of these Herald fights, especially in the old days when we had double Herald before Grubs. But
so if it's a debate like who's stronger, or Yasuo or Yone, I would still say Yasuo, just because you can knock, or you can get multiple targets in your ultimate.
There's just no real angle here for Fisher. Faker
1 versus 1 and winning your lane, I think Yone is stronger.
He's just not caught, and
it is a team game, and in pro esports, it's all about team play.
He did. And it is the Rift Herald going on over to Nongshim, so that is the trade for the life of Jwoo. But the problem is this is likely to be...
And sadly, we only have one dragon so far, 16 minutes into a game.
I think extremely important, because he's just going to have to realize that
where you could have 3 by now.
You know, we did identify early.
So the game, the team, whoever wins, both teams really, they're behind by 10 minutes.
As seen in that graph, no longer a meme with Senna, you know, actually being the support in this case.
It's fantastic. This is actually like really liberating.
I also don't see any deep vision from T1 in this game in the enemy jungle.
Because it's
Notice
Senna being a support and
Nongshim have this deep vision in T1's jungle, but there's no
it's being played by a support and not because
vision at all in Nongshim's jungle from T1.
It's still the same item. You know, we're not going that far, but.
And in fact, speaking of Twitch chat, they brought up a really good point. Aurora Borealis is also known
Nobody's at 2 items yet.
True. So instead of having to try and trip over the name Aurora, Maybe we can
Talk
just
about it
call a Northern.
all the time in my VODs,
Sure.
but at 20 minutes you're trying to get 2 items, and then you can take Baron.
right now in this meta.
Yeah.
Typically you should have
Probably,
boots in one item at
go for that
15
one. I
minutes.
think we'll have
All the players
Queen of
do.
the North. That's
I
a
like
Yundo suggestion, I believe.
I like
But then
that.
like
Love that.
a lot of games
That's
like
a
a
good
Chovy
one,
will
okay.
already have 2 items and
We
a
do
stacked
have a bit of a
Manamune on
contest over the
Corki.
Dragon here. Again, both top laners have teleport, but it's hard for Mihail to go because he will just get stunned by the cannon if he decides to opt in.
We got a
So
dragon
it's
fight
kind of
going
okay,
on.
they're backing away. Maybe he will TP in. Nongshim really want this dragon. It's Ocean and Chemtech, so the soul's going to be valuable. Here comes Gio on the side.
And I was gonna say, I don't know why they're worrying about like
Oh, it's Gio.
owners doing damage on that Scuttle Crab. I don't know if that was maybe to bait Sylvie from like using his smite to steal the crab, so he could have smite to steal the dragon.
Really, Faker just looking for.
Owner gets the dragon, which doesn't surprise me because he steals objectives all the time. Zeus's teleport is down. Faker's teleport is down. Faker's ult is down. Rumble's ult is down. Rumble's teleport is down. Fisher's teleport is down.
On the side. Really
Trying
want
to
this
see
dragon.
who
Ocean
started
and
this,
Chemtech
who
were
shot first.
kind of
So
a-
both
okay, they're back.
teams were teleporting
Because he will
there.
just get stunned by the cannon. Again, both top laners
Top
have
laners.
teleport, but
I was talking and I didn't see who started the objective. It looks like T1 started the dragon.
Have the Queen of the North. That's
like
a
that.
Yundo suggestion, I believe.
I like that.
Love that.
Then
That's a good
Scuttle
one,
Crab
okay.
spawned on top of it.
We do have a bit of a contest over the dragon here.
So Kaisa's behind and should be there. She's going to be late for this party. Kaisa exhaust is down. They'll need for Zeus's ultimate. Guma's exhaust is down. So what we saw is they're trying to catch out multiple targets in the Wukong ult.
Again, both top laners have teleport, but it's hard for Mihail to go because he will just get stunned by the cannon if he decides to opt in. So
Or Vital takes a dragon auto attack.
it's kind of a okay. They're backing away. Maybe he will TP in.
Notice how Guma put a control ward there as he went into the enemy jungle. He didn't just straight up go into the enemy jungle.
Really want this dragon. It's Ocean and Chemtech, so the soul's going to be valuable. Here comes.
Guma UC places. Before going to jungle. Before entering. He doesn't know he's going to get ganked or something if he didn't do that. I just thought that was kind of important. Most people would have overlooked that.
Stunned by the cannon if he decides to opt in. So it's kind of a okay. They're backing away. Maybe he will TP in. Nongshim really want this dragon.
So it was like, why is he sitting on the enemy side? And it looks like Kennen also teleported
Ocean
on
and
this.
Chemtech, so the soul's going to be valuable. Here comes Gio on the side.
So Fisher's the one that shot first. We're always... There's probably a meme of it, right? Of who shot first. It's the Greedo Han Solo thing. So Fisher shot first. Who shot first? T1 started the dragon, and then Nongshim was standing around watching, and then they decide for the team fight first. Now, Fisher is a level ahead of Faker. Yasuo's a level ahead of Kaisa. Jiwoo might be a little behind, and same with Millie.
Double teleports in as well as Jiwoo.
Did the exhaust come back? No, exhaust is going to be down for Kennon's ult in this fight. So good timing for T1. I'm sure they got to know these things.
Really? Faker just looking for him. You can tell what they're looking for, but what's in as well as Jiwoo. Really? Faker just looking for
Rel's ultimate.
him. You can tell what they're looking for, but there is the dragon taken down by Ona. Circle goes down. Fisher's health bar is melted.
I didn't see what Guma got his ult off on.
Dragon taken down by Ona.
So he hit Millie and Fisher. He did get a multiple man ult.
Circle goes down. Fisher's health bar is melted, but it's T1 that are lying on the ground. Faker taken down, and Nongshim, they wipe them all.
Oh man, this is a disaster for T1. It looked so good. The Aurora ult goes down. And they also have a pretty nice setup for the ultimate for Guma. There's just too much damage in this comp here for Nongshim. Vitals re-engage as well, very clean. And that's not only going to be the dragon goes over. It's
Trying to look at items and calculate some things in my head of could have T1 straight up won that team fight.
Potentially giving us our second upset of the day here. Remember, this match matters for T1. We talked about their easy strength of schedule. Well, it only matters if you win those.
I mean, one thing, we've got no range. Zeus is ranged, but we don't have an AD ranged champion, one. And the Kai's is going to allow a lot of follow-up. Or Yasuo's not trying to follow up, he's trying to engage.
I mean, I guess, you know, if we talk about the Malignants, we've kind of joked a few times about it, making the circle into...
Maybe the Yasuo needs to wait a little bit more and try to clean up, I don't know. They're trying to combo this Wukong ult and then catch multiple targets in it and then probably lock them down with a cannon ult. They're trying some very progressive things, T1.
But now Cannon without flash, way less dangerous.
True, and a lot more vulnerable.
And again, the Rumble's a permanent ban on the red side, so it's known, or everyone agrees he has too much damage or he's too strong.
I mean, it's just been kind of a team effort all around, but he's been super active on the map, non-stop.
So Kai'Sa gets her second item already. We're looking at the timing window when these teams can take the dragon, or the Baron, because it's 20 minutes. So Faker's on his 2 items. Yon's already on his 2 items. So you're getting around the territory where Nongshim might be able to take this Baron. If they can maybe catch out T1 or something, or take down like Owner,
There's been so many
catch somebody on T1 out, they might be able to take the Baron.
It's usually game 2.
Got the 2 items on Rel, which you get Warmogs and the tank support, it's pretty OP at 20 minutes. Because you can just face check a brush or get poked out and run around for 30 seconds and full health again.
They always have been, let's be frank, but Nongshim are really giving T1 a run for their money here, now getting control over the Baron Vision. We're 21 minutes in, a bit early to start this one up with a Kai'Sa.
CSing on the top lane is way behind, but again, because of the lane swap, and we talked about this in the beginning of the game, that they were 12 CS behind the mid laners once they started, or when I paid attention to the CS. They were at 12, or the mid laners were at 24. Maybe it was higher than that. Because of the lane swap, they were behind by like a couple minutes. Oh, and they just straight up, Nongshim straight up take the Baron. So I'm saying, like, once you got 2 items on your carries, you can pretty much burn the Baron down. So Nongshim just showed that. They just burned the Baron down when T1 didn't even think they would attempt it.
business to survive. That's another ace.
That's the game, I think. That's
Also, the dragon's up in a
the
minute.
Baron, getting a full ace, and T1 just trickling
You get the
in
Baron
because
buff,
there
you
was
do
just
want to
the Baron
push
getting
out the
that vision,
lanes,
had to
right?
do
You don't want to
something,
run
but
around with the
it was
Baron
super
buff.
desperate. It's almost a steal. As you mentioned, his owner goes for this, uses the clone, and then closes the gap, but it's actually the Kai'Sa that secures it. And then look at this ult here on the re-engage
Rel
from
doing a lot of
Fisher.
work, Vital down here in the enemy
Down.
jungle, surviving. And again, the Warmogs, look how tanky Vital is.
And Faker's ult is high value, but he doesn't have any
If
teammates, so it
I
doesn't
did
matter.
any other
Yeah,
role
everyone's just kinda dead
than
already.
jungle,
This is
like
free
I'm wanting to
play.
do support
It was
because
cold.
The comp is
20-minute
really cool,
Warmog
the
looks
comp is
really
great
fun
for
on a
T1 if
tanky
all the
support.
moving parts are working together, but it's like a bicycle without tires in this team fight, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you can just kind of
So as I
outdo
say,
yourself.
I see the
Not
map.
to mention the fact that, you know, there is no real front line, so if you don't have an advantage,
Nongshim own this much of the map already, 23 minutes into the game.
Into this composition from Nongshim and fall behind, that like it's sort of like two very similar styles of draft going together, because a Rumble is just going to capitalize.
And
you
Rumble's
will
on his
just
2
sell it.
items already.
And that's what we're
Kennen,
seeing
I
right
don't
now,
like the... I
as
would
Fisher
rather he goes
is
Zanya's
utilizing
Hourglass. I
console really
especially
well.
think he needs that in this
On the
game.
bottom side, utilizing this
Type
Baron
of
buff,
team
trying
fight
to get even more
engage.
pressure. And it is all of a sudden a 7,000 gold lead.
Gonna get
counting.
exhausted
It is
for-
a 4,000
It's basically to like
gold
block
Red Bull Baron power play.
or
Equalizer goes
make
down
up
onto
for the
turret.
exhaust that
Justify those
Kai'Sa has.
mistakes.
They do need to play really respectfully, though, of the combos Guma can set up here. Also, Faker's ultimate is still incredibly potent, and it's on a super low
Because
cooldown.
the exhaust pretty much negates
Fisher
the
looks for an angle, doesn't quite get it.
ultimate on Kennen, so he can't move around. Then the enemy team can just move around him while he's slow.
Yeah, a bit of a awkward moment here for Nongshim. The equalizer very low value, and once that's down, T1 feel very confident to actually look for a pick there. As they're a little
Owner's
bit
still
split, and then
behind. He's
they're
only
all
on his
grouped in
2
one lane,
items,
so there's no
2.5
secondary
items.
lane
Finally gets the
pushing
Caulfield's
the team
hammer
out.
and the
After
tunneler.
equalizer go mid, but he doesn't get any
Guma's
pressure
on
done
his 2
there,
items,
so
Mortal
they will
Shield
still
Bow,
walk
Blade of the
away with
Rune
this
King.
Dragon, a Tech Soul, which is massive. Obviously, especially with the lead they have and the Kai'Sa that's in this composition, setting up those slows is going to be pretty nice. But yeah, this is just a little bit too aggressive here, and then Vital gets caught by the root, and Nongshim are just like, sorry, I can't save you.
No,
and you can see Rumble
Vital
awkwardly
got
with no
bursted
ult in mid, not really
fast
accomplishing
that
too much.
time.
T1 have done a great job of
The
stemming
whole team.
the bleeding here, still significantly behind 7,000 gold. But the combos in this comp can win you the game, even without the gold advantage.
Next
Like,
dragon
still
up
winnable
in
here
4
for
minutes
T1,
and 30 seconds.
But the lack of map control there made me feel like 100%. This is probably done so.
Wrong
Nongshim
color.
didn't utilize their Baron very well, and so here we are.
Yeah,
T1's back in a chance to get back into this game.
yeah, of course. And it's never over until it's over. It's absolutely true. As another circle comes in, and
Time
Drew is
to
gonna do the warp
punish
strategy.
Fisher
He's
if
gonna
you
get out of
can.
that.
Faker knows the cooldown. He's like, it doesn't matter. I can
Yeah.
just do it again in a
Don't
second.
see
worry.
Faker
Needs to hit
side
people
laning.
with
He's
stuff, and he'll
he's
be
in the
fine.
mid lane. I don't know
As you
why.
can see already, quarter of the way ticked.
Be
through.
over here.
We'll have another circle that he can put down relatively soon.
Again, if you're an AD
All right. Sylvie,
and you don't understand why you win your lane and then you don't win the game, well,
his owner is
after you get the
backing away
first
there,
turret
looking for a
down,
little bit of an
you
angle.
switch the
This
mid
might be the
laner
inner turret falling now for Nongshim. It's been there
and he
for
goes
quite
to
some
your
time.
lane
They've
or
been
goes
looking for it,
top.
and there it
And
goes.
top laner goes bottom, but
Nongshim
top
secure it.
laner and mid laner side
Now with
lane,
all of this control, the bottom
and
side
you
is
stay in the
3.5
mid
minutes
lane.
until the
That's
next
what you
dragon, but that
see
is
in the
Soul Point,
professional
X-Tech
play.
Soul available. I mean, if there's a win condition,
So
when it
if
comes
you're
from the Dragon Pit, it is
winning
certainly
lane is the
X-Tech Soul
AD
or
in
Zelda.
solo queue and you don't understand why you can't win games. It's probably one of the main reasons. Around 15 minutes or when you get the first turret down, you swap with your mid laner. And I know I've had the same problem. Some of the mid laners won't go or don't understand and they just stay in the mid lane and then they get mad at you. But you gotta go to the mid lane. The mid laner's gonna have to figure it out someday.
But because he's Kennen, they can set up these fights so well with a teleport flank.
So Kai'Sa's on her 3 items, so not looking good.
In the previous series. Mihail,
There's an equalizer. Owner does go into his warrior trickster, but I don't even
What
know
I'm
whether it's
saying
good
is
enough. He's healed, but the Magnus Storm from
Guma's
Vital,
lost his
and they
lane.
just get into the back line,
You
and
look
then
at his
Vigo
KDA versus
is real tired, and he will
Jiwoo's,
be
right?
taken
Like
down.
the
The flag
Kai's,
out
the
for Vigo
AD
gets him to safety.
ranged
Still on
AD
the
got
board
ahead
here
of
with
the
T1.
non-ranged
And
ADs,
Fisher's
which
still
isn't a
pushing.
good thing.
Upside here. A lot of pressure on these inhibitor turrets now. T1 losing a lot of farm, and Fisher fishing, but isn't going to find anything.
Not quite yet. There is the flash forward from Faker, and he's just going to kill Jiwoo. Bye-bye, Jiwoo. You're
So
not
it looks
allowed
like
to be
Aurora
blind
has
for
a
Faker.
lot of
Yep,
range.
you're not allowed to be an AD carry when Aurora is on the rift.
Yeah, that was a, you know, again, not a, they used his flash for it, but it's not really a high-risk play from Faker. There's no inherent risk to his safety, and his ultimate's on such a low cooldown. If he feels like he has the angle to
Baron,
flash
I was
for that,
gonna
I
say
think he'll
Baron
100%
should
go
be
for
up.
it. Punishes Jiwoo there.
10 seconds.
It's a small trickle in the deficit
2 minutes
here,
on the
yeah,
dragon.
in terms of where we are in terms of the game state.
Yes,
but
this point, if you're Nongshim, you
wants
just
this again.
do the Baron,
Mihail just hiding in this brush. Owner
finish
face
the
checks
game
it,
out.
equalizer's placed
Don't
well.
worry about
Nico
getting the
uses
next
Warrior's
dragon.
Trickster, and he has Carius heals to come
Because
through the Magnet Storm here from
it'll be,
Fire
what,
is
like
enough
10
to
more minutes till you get
follow
the
the
Dragon
storm quite
Souls,
nicely with
so
exhaust here into this Yasuo. There is just nothing Guma can do.
in this situation, I always talk about the dragons are so valuable getting 4 of them, but I think maybe in this situation that
And he just pops on
it would be okay if T1 got the dragon.
Get in the right position,
Yeah, so
and then uses
If
the
you get the
wall
Baron,
here on the
like
other
if you
side.
had to trade them,
What is that called? Is that what a Mobius is? I don't know what the term for it is when you go from one side to the other, like in Pac-Man, but there's a term for
What?
it. Someone tweeted at me or something, but he
Isn't
uses
it-
that really well.
Is it a Mobius? I thought that was the bad
if
guy
you're
from
T1, I
Resident
don't
Evil
think you can
Sonic
allow Nongshim to get this Baron because they've got enough power they'll be able to
I'm glad
break
to see
the
that
inhibitor
multiple things.
in your base
As,
down
Nongshim
and
starting off yet another Baron, and
they close
Mihail
out the
with
game
his
and get to the
halberd is able to
Nexus.
keep Carrier at
And
bay.
there's
This
nothing
is just
T1
gone.
can
There's
do.
nothing they can do about it. The equalizer comes in just to make sure, and there's the dash forward from
And
Fisher.
Yon
He
just made a
executes
really
Carrier
big
in the
play.
backline.
Fisher.
Zeus is also gonna try and do something, but he melts.
Who was that?
And
Zeus
that
was
is
caught
all of
out?
the kills, all of the time for Nongshim.
I mean, they were just standing there and there was nothing they could do.
Nothing they can do about it. The equalizer comes in just.
He gets Carrier. That's like a Faker thing right there, right? Like, you don't really see Faker do that anymore, but he used to burst down the enemy's team support every time he gets an opportunity, just like this, and snowball the game
Sure,
from
and
this.
there's the dash forward from Fisher. He just executes Carrier in the back line.
So that was a big
Zeus
play
is
from
also
Fisher.
gonna try and do something,
It's
but
gonna
he melts.
really help
And
close
that
out
is
this
all of
game,
the
and it just
kills, all of the
snowballs
time for Nongshim.
as
All
Fisher
of the
made a
range
Faker
from
type play.
Guruji, trying to dash around, but his brother will take him out of the fight. And
So
now
that should
T1
be
once
game
again,
number
a
1.
clean ace. And Nongshim are just playing better.
Yep, they certainly are. The draft was pretty eclectic from T1. I definitely think it could have worked out, but it just got completely owned by this Rumble pick. They took the Aurora, and it'll be the first loss of Aurora.
Don't think
here
T1 is
in
gonna
the
be able to come
LCK.
back.
Nongshim with a huge upset win here at
This
T1
game is
Madness.
over.
Not
So there's
what you
game
wanted to
number
see
1.
on Faker's return here in week 8. Is Nongshim taking
Gotta get the
So many
in-game
angles on this
stats.
rel this time.
So we get excited when this team is playing well, especially when
Yeah.
all the moving parts are working.
Hey.
But an upset win over a team like T1, an elite team.
Alright, so game number 1. I apologize I didn't do as many notes as I should or want to. But hey, at least I showed up today. And this is where I take my break and we'll get into game number 2. And then hopefully I can get to bed at a decent time. It's already gonna probably be 1 o'clock. Alright, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the next level with Sodaron, who we're going into game number 2 of match number 76. Also, I just stumbled upon this reading here. Why the Renekton ban? I'm guessing that Renekton is strong against Yone. So if you don't have Renekton on the board, it's a good time to pick Yone.
On the blue side, and I think understandably so, but
So
what is going to
T1
be
again
picked
are
up
on the
in
blue
ban?
side.
Maybe going for more of these,
Again, I think
crazy
this is a
risky
series for
drops, not going
T1.
to be
They're
the case,
masked.
and we're going to go back
Faker
to standard
supposedly has
4-8 right this
COVID,
time.
and there's a whole
Aurora is
fiasco
still
about last
qualifying
week
to
that
just
I
lock
don't
it
really
in,
care to get
and
into.
even as a flex pick, that's
I
totally
said
fine. It
he's
was really the
burned
Saturday
out,
lane that
like
where things
he
started to get a
needs
little bit
time
wonky.
away.
Didn't have a
He
great
had
front line. The Wukong thing.
everybody
Again, the
talks
draft
about
would have
there
put
was
it
the
all
Red
together
Bull
at the
tournament they
time,
went
but
to
it's
after
gonna get outplayed.
Worlds. There was
And
also
Nongshim,
the
they are the masters of
Asian
chaos. So
game
this
esports
type of
games
draft,
last
they
year that he was at
definitely
as
felt very
well,
comfortable
on
to
top
see
of
two jungle
MSI.
drafts here.
He's just
Again,
like
T1
needs some
taking away
time
the
away.
outright, and
You get burned out on this game.
Sejuani
I learned
once
that
again
working
seeing the
with
Ashe
GAM,
and the Azir for Nongshim.
where my brain couldn't even
If you're
retain
expected this time around, it
information.
was Renekton banned away in game
Looking
one.
at the like champions and
They ban
data
Aurora
and stuff, and
here
my
in
brain's
this
just
spot
like,
since the Roar's already
what?
banned, you don't have to trade it.
Or why I have to write
They
the
might not
drafts
be as
down
worried
because my
they
brain's
just
like,
managed to beat it,
what?
right? And so
I don't know
could
what
be
to do
still
with
by
all that
taken away.
information.
I wouldn't even hate a Kennen ban here. Actually could be okay if you feel like you can play into the Vi. The Vi is also fine. See what they want to do. Be the Aurora.
Okay.
So Vi first pick
So
is
Rumble's
an
banned this
especially
time,
with Faker's
Sejuani
champion pool. I
and
feel like his strong
Maokai.
suit
So
has definitely been
again,
playing a lot of
T1's
AP
targeting
mid laners, not
Sylvie.
as
They
strong
did in the
with
last
Tristana or
game. The
Corki
Azir
this
was
season,
banned, the
although he's had
Ashe was
fantastic
banned,
games
and
both.
the
This
Aurora
hasn't
was
been really
banned
his
because
go-to. The Kennen I was
Aurora
talking
looked like
about
she
instead
did
was
alright,
the
got some
first pick, it looks like
takedowns.
for Zeus.
Yeah, still wanting to opt into that one. We've seen a few cannons lose in the last
So we
few
get
games,
Kennen,
and
maybe
sort of against
one
the
reasons
teams that we
to
feel
counter
are more powerful in
Renekton.
the series as well, right? Like Zeus and Keen, both of them with many accolades throughout this season and this year. As Zed is obviously the answer. Ninja is how it's supposed to go. But
So we
instead,
get
it is behind,
Cassante.
going back to an old favorite here, or at least considering it. We'll see whether
Which I already
Cassante is
went ahead and
locked
did
in.
the
Does make a little
legwork
bit of
on
sense. You can
this.
sort of weather the storm
Sure.
and then be more useful later.
See if they want to grab a
Cannon
jungle
wins against
pick
Cassante
here, or if they
76%
want
of the
to-
time.
They could even get something
Vi
like
wins
Leon, that would
against
be pretty
Lilia
unusual to
50% of the
draft
time. There was only
highly,
one
but
game,
it
so it's
opens
like
up
a
a lot of
coin
different
flip.
bottom
We
lanes
don't
for
really
them.
know.
This is not an easy
Corki
spot, with the
wins
top
against
laners already
Yone
locked
69% of the
away,
time.
unusual.
Zaya
For
wins
Lilia
against
pick here,
Ezreal 100% of the time.
Okay.
That
so
must
they
have
did
been
cover
like
last time
a
against
couple
Swamp.
handful of games. And then Alistar
Yeah.
wins against
I do
Rakan
wanna mention,
76%
Atlas,
of the
that
time.
Fisher has played a
So I
ton of
already went
Corki
ahead and
games.
did the
Really
legwork
enjoyed
on some
playing
of
the
these
Corki.
counters
Faker
for you. They're in the
sets up rough
notes.
Corki games, to be totally honest with everyone. We'll see if Faker wants to lock it in here or if Fisher's just going to be
I would
happy
like to
say
see
we got an
Elise
easy
come
jungler,
back
we're
into
going double lane
play.
carry.
It's a fun
And
jungle
comfort pick for
champion to
me.
play that I've
There's
spent a
that
lot of
Vi.
time. One of my
Yeah, I
best
think
jungle
Vi is
champions.
certainly a fantastic option, especially if we're heading into more of these dive-based games.
Maybe just Vi.
So I don't think Vi's
Or
really
Vi
a
Talia.
counter to
These are the
Lilia.
AP picks I was talking about. Faker's look much better on
I think
than the AD
maybe Oder
picks.
needs more practice
His
on
Azir
Vi.
has
She
taken
was
away both games.
buffed.
We saw in
She's
our
been
series
buffed like
yesterday,
the
actually,
yeah.
the
Vi's
Vi
been
being
buffed
absolutely
2
pivotal
patches
pick.
in a row, so I think we're
And
gonna
that's
start
to come in
seeing
once
her
again.
again.
That Corki
I
Aurora
tried her
that I'm a
out
little bit
practice
worried
tool
about
last night.
is going to be
She was
picked up once
could
more.
take the
Fisher
dragon at level 5 very
really
easily. The
not
void
mind if we
grubs
just saw the
without any
Yone again, to be
items.
honest.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, is he going to play Yone
So,
again or is he going to play Lucian?
Vi's strong
But
right
he's looking
now.
for potentially the Tristana here.
Probably-
I feel like I wouldn't normally trust,
Probably
okay,
yeah,
might
that's
be
good.
something to do with
wouldn't
helping
normally
sell
trust
Arcane.
Fisher's Tristana, but I was going to say maybe it's a lack of confidence.
That
in
Riot
Faker's
would
ability
want
to lane here,
Vi
but
to be in
the Yone
competitive
makes a
play
lot
right
more sense
now.
for me, and you've got a lot of combo potential.
So
you've got a great front line.
Nongshim
Now, with
banned the
this Yone,
Caitlyn
he
against
also is asleep
Gumayushi,
as
which is
well
one of his best
as
champions.
the
I'm a really
Caitlyn
good
ban, I feel
Caitlyn
like
player
is
too.
definitely leaning
The
towards
problem
maybe
is
a
she
Varus
starts
pick
falling
here,
off after you
potentially.
win your lane.
Yeah.
You gotta
Wanting to
have
eliminate some of
people
that range,
protect
and as
you.
well,
Ash,
one thing I
I've
wanna
won a
play
crazy
is
game with just me
incredibly
and
powerful lanes.
like a
It's
2 versus
often
5 with a
someone
Pike
like
and
a
me.
Caitlyn Lux, or incredibly dominant bottom lane pickups.
Maybe a Callista ban to follow here, or they ban the Senna.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
go
that.
So
Callista.
Callista ban.
Now,
A lot of
if
Gumayushi
there's,
targets.
You know, there's an angle to play Smolder. I don't think this is it. You know, those are good bans if you're going to play Smolder, but I don't think you want to play it into Vi.
So we're down to
and
what, like
Kennen. I mean,
Ezreal?
yes,
I don't know
winning
why the
against Kennen,
Lulu
but that was a good
counter.
lane pick, and it was a very different team that is playing.
Why the
and there are a
Lulu
lot of different
ban?
Setups of a lot of different scenarios with the Maokai. For
Senna
example.
ban.
Okay, the Senna ban I think is warranted.
They don't want Senna
I'd rather
Ornn,
see a Zeri here
even though they
than
wouldn't
Smolder. We
probably
might see a
get
Smolder
Senna
hover
and
because Zero
Ornn.
loves to do that.
Please, we want to see the hover. The hover would be, and Neela hover would be great. Wouldn't
Yeah,
mind
Neela
a
and
Samira
Smolder.
hover. Yeah, a few of those different weird options.
Do
before you
not
lock in
play-
something normal.
Do not play Misfortune, is what I would suggest.
Wow, it's 80 carry Rakan. As the camera guy is going to let me know.
I don't know
in
why
fact,
we're
this
picking
is
the
probably a pick
supports
for Vi.
before the
It's a
ADs.
Zaya game, isn't it?
I hope
It's a
so.
Zaya game, Atlas.
It might
So
be, sort of
T1
Zaya's
decide, well,
denial,
we better take Zaya
or
if you
like
have
they take
Rakan, because
away
we
the
don't want the
desire
Zaya
to
Rakan
deny
synergy that you have
desire
together. So
Rakan.
they take the Zaya and the
I think
Alistar.
the Noodle Boys mind
Alistar
games
counters
are
Rakan.
gorgeous.
Sick mind game.
Holy.
Oh my god. Look at
And
you.
then the
got him.
Smolder?
I don't know much about Smolder.
Well, with Zaya here, I feel like it's actually kind of viable, but I think the Ezreal is just the better pick overall.
But we get Ezreal,
Yeah,
even
I
though
think
he
we
was
find more
nerfed,
if you
his
outrange
Q later
reliably,
on
comfortably.
You're so safe into
does
Ken and
less
Vi.
damage.
I think the Ezreal is just better. I think the Smolder is just way too immobile. Yes,
So,
you could still lock
there we
down
go.
the
Let's get
Ezreal
into
with
the
ultimate
game.
from the Vi, but it puts the Vi in an awkward spot. In Smolder,
Got
you can
Alistar,
fly
Zaya,
flap or
Corki,
whatever,
Vi,
but yeah,
Kennen
not quite the
into
same thing
Cassante,
as,
Lilia,
the
Yone,
Ezreal, I think,
Ezreal,
is
and
going to offer you a
Khan.
lot of objective poke.
Again, I don't want to spend all night because
You
I'm
have the
planning to
Vi,
do the
you
Gen
can-
G
Nongshim
KT
has-
series
I
tomorrow.
do think that
As
in terms
the
for control,
Nongshim players
tanky.
are coughing. I
Cannon,
hope they don't get
at the
COVID and
outpost,
get sick.
it can engage really well, and you have an Alistar, which is going to be relatively tanky. But if T1
I don't
falls
even
behind
know.
and Nongshim have control over objectives, or they're contesting for control of the Ezreal.
No, no,
push,
you kind of look
but
sick
otherwise
there.
This T1 composition is a real comp, a meta comp, a strong comp.
Guess it's a
that
good thing
has a
T1
cannon
players
that is
have
gonna set up
masks
a
on.
more traditional chances of victory. Yeah, let's let
Nongshim winning interview best of 3. How well he
Poor guy. Feel bad for him. As the Kennen, the Naguri Kennen skin looks like the mascot from Nongshim.
All right. Here we
He-
are, ladies and
only if he
gentlemen.
had red and
To get
black.
It all underway.
So, looking at the vision again. 45 seconds. We've got Alistar up here to put some type of ward, investing it into the top lane for Zeus, which T1 does this a lot, and we don't see Rakan this time up here to place a ward. I'm guessing this is... I don't think he'd have time. This is Ezreal's ward. So supports, this is stuff you can do and solo queue and get better to help your laners so they don't lose lane. This will allow Zeus to put a deep ward in the enemy jungle. Probably to help show lane swap as well. I'm guessing it's 45 seconds in the game.
Hey, game number 2. Can the Noodle Boys do it again? Both
30
teams
seconds.
Getting their
Or no, a
request
minute.
inside.
40
It's
seconds.
2 games in a row.
Millie does a good job getting the ward down.
And Mihail just taking a few shurikens. Zeus is putting the pressure on. It looks like
So if you're a top laner in solo queue, you can, put your starting ward deeper, which will help you prevent getting ganked instead of just putting it in one of these brushes like this. That allows Zeus to play aggressive, to overextend.
it's not going to be any lane swaps unless
We got
Vital's
Rakan
moving
coming
towards the top
top
side. It may just be the Nongshim are getting
as
that
the sweeper
rotation over.
lens.
Yeah, it could be.
So we get a
it's gonna
lane
be tough
swap
lane
again.
for Cassante to play out here in the top side. Bottom obviously can be quite difficult as well. Obviously at level 1 you're going to have
Maybe
the
because
Alistar,
Millie's
but
struggling
able to trick
into
your Isaiah
Zeus. Had a
into
lane
this
swap last
relatively squishy
game.
lane. So they will have the
Also, we've got Keen did this, and this worked. Running an exhaust on Cassante, but if he can't overextend, he can't play aggressive in lane because he'll get punished. Maybe some of the reason they're lane swapping as well.
The element of surprise here is T1 have some deep vision, but they're not going to walk through it to the lane. They're actually going through this tri-brush. Great path here from Vital.
The Corki again allows Faker to play kind of more safe in lane because the phosphorus bomb, his Q gives you vision, so he can always get vision of these brushes, preventing ganks. Loner's got ward in his jungle entrance. Looks like Lily is not going to be invading into T1's top side of jungle.
Zayas is definitely aware of the possibility. I mean, those wards tell you everything.
One thing I talk about, I don't know why Guma takes this barrier. I think this game cost him maybe later on where he needed cleanse. Even though, yeah, I know Sodaron, but he kind of has cleanse with his ult. Well, yeah, but I think he needs that cleanse later on in team fights if he gets hit by a Yone ult or Kasante's ult or Sleep or Rakan's ult for team fights. We're thinking team fights. You're not going to, especially in highest level of LOL Esports, you're going to have team fights. And even in solo queue, you have team fights.
Everything you need to know. T1 are very
That's what's
concerned
fun
the
about
fact
this
that he
game
might
is
just
the
be not
team
allowed to play the
fights.
game, because he's like,
Yeah.
I first pick Kennen,
But you
and
just
they're
don't take a
definitely gonna
fight
stop
for
me.
no
I'm trying to
reason.
stop
Like
you.
you've got to be ahead if you're going to
And,
take
I
it,
don't think he will have to
or
flash
have
anything
some
like
type of
that,
advantage
because
with the
he's
summoner
hand
spells
on
or
the
the
trigger,
ultimates
and he's gonna
or the
walk away
items or
immediately.
levels.
Yep, he wanted to be able to come
As
up
we're
and
here
at least
for
grab
the
some
next
experience,
level with
but not gonna be
Sodaron.
able to do so, as Jiwoo just greets him with a mystic shot. Sylvie starting off on his blue buff, going to be smiting that one away as Mihail walks
So this
up.
is where Zayas doesn't know where to go. Where you have Kasante. Now, Kasante can't overextend. He doesn't have flash. He might get punished right here already. He really can't go. I don't know. I don't think you can really go about past there. You'd have to keep the wave frozen and not really play past this first brush without a flash. So he might get punished.
And tries to get some experience. I think gets a tiny little bit. Oh no, not able
No,
to.
he didn't get it.
It's a bit sad. Tries to.
I mean, I guess he's got not one but two dashes, which is kind of ridiculous.
For a few of those, Zayas, you can see, did manage to latch onto at least a
Zayas
couple
trying
of
to
minions.
get some
Yeah,
XP.
look at him just leeching Faker's XP. Faker's such a bro to let him just chill here.
Yeah.
If you see this in solo queue, like, you know, Faker just flashes into the turret and dies immediately, but this is a pro game, so...
So
we don't see
Zayas
the
helping,
focused
you know,
amount
he's
of
not
things
taking
saying,
the
"Get
last
out of my
hits from
lane."
Faker. He's just getting
You know,
XP
it's no
there.
problem, deal with it as almost level 2 for Mihail.
I don't know who got this ward here. Be interested to see. I would say that's Faker's ward right here.
If you see this in solo queue, like...
Zayas allowed. One reason Zayas came here was to allow Faker to get this ward.
you know, Faker just flashes into the turret and dies immediately. But this is a pro game, so
Yeah, we
it's just
don't
gonna
see
hang
the
out.
raucous amount of ping saying "Get out of my lane."
So,
You know, it's your problem. deal
Ezreal
with
and
it.
Rakan have an
Almost level
absolute
2 from a
free
Heil, actually.
lane.
Yeah, he's
Kind of a big one.
Expect
definitely,
Lilia
you
to
know,
roam
weathering
up
this laning
this
phase
way.
pretty well early.
And
It's an
probably
Alistar
shove
lane,
this turret.
and there is no jungler
Shove this
nearby, so
turret.
he's
We have
gonna be able to
Rakan
get some of
recalling.
this XP, you have to imagine. He has exhaust as well, which is great into cannon, but also potentially going to be a good dive deterrent. Although Zeus
Picks
coming
up a
over now
control
with him showing a mid
ward.
and then disappearing. He's
Yes,
like,
some
I'm not
health
messing around with
pots.
that. I'm not playing that game. And will not, in fact, hit level 2.
Yep. Vision going down here is Keria setting up just to make sure that there's no sort of counter gank opportunity as this
I
wave
guess
is
this is
wiped
to
out.
help Millie.
Coming down
Zeus
as
has a
well,
level advantage
2,
over
as
him.
we
He got
might
some
see Soul
XP.
Plate Gold go over to Jiwoo
Faker
in the
helped
top
get some
lane,
XP. So
Yeah.
Millie way behind. He's only level
right now, they're
1.
kind of just sitting back and watching with binoculars in hand.
I kind of like it. Leave just one person up
and
there.
also
It means
he's
that there
got
is,
no flash,
less
so
of
he
the armor on
really
the turret, meaning
can't
that,
do
there
anything.
can at least be one of those plates taken by Jiwoo, as we can see.
Maybe if
Una
he had
moving
his
over those,
W
so
and
4 to
E.
2, as Mihail trying to get towards
get
the
dove.
turret and might actually ding level 2. As no, not quite, but still he's going to survive. There's
we
that
got
level 2 that we were talking about.
lucky there and got
still
level
here
2.
From T1 as they do manage to
Millie,
get the
that
engage.
is.
That is first blood
Sante.
going over to Gumayushi.
So what all did this cost? Khan's flash, Khan's heal. Again, it's what, 5 minutes? So it's, like 9 minutes. Let's see. Gotta do it on my hand. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. I was gonna say 8:51. I second guessed myself there. That's what it used to be. I don't know if it's been nerfed or changed. I was trying to look at the stats, but then they looked like they were still off. I know I've tried to look at this before. Very important to know these. 300 seconds. Okay, so 5 minutes. So that's where, till looking at the clock, 9 minutes, 51 seconds. You can make a play on Rakan if he's overextended over the line somewhere or out in the enemy jungle somewhere. Good time to make a play, and T1, for example, should know this stuff and keep track of it. Highly doubt they don't know these things. Now, LEC teams, LCS teams, I know Caps has stated and been information that maybe Perks back in the day, when Perks was on G2, they used to talk about how Caps could keep track of all these timings.
And he says,
very important. That's how you make the plays.
More of these minions. Zeus was tanking up this turret, and once again, he's just going to get toyed with.
And like that was time to make a play on Millie, right? Because his exhaust down and his teleport was down.
Another kill going over to T1.
All right,
the T1 did lose the Scuttle Crab on the dragon, so they may not get this first dragon if Nongshim claim it at 5 minutes. They should be able to. Greedy play from Sylvia trying to go in and 4 versus 1.
Close the gap. Doesn't land the gleaming quill, and Gumayushi
Ezreal's coming down here. Again, I'm usually watching the mini map. What's going on? That's what I'm trying to point out on stream. It's what the high-end pro players, how they play. Faker doesn't watch his character in lane. He's always looking at all the lanes and his mini map.
just stands strong, walks out, no flash. Oh, there's the flash.
So the lane swap is back to the standard lanes.
But Jiwoo, he's gonna have that arcane shift relatively soon. But Keria, he gets back.
I think the lane swap's over. We've got the Kennen into the Cassante now. Cassante did get ahead of Kennen. We've got 4 CS to 2 CS. We've got a level 2 advantage over a level 3 advantage. Flash is down. Teleport is down.
Way out of there, and he will be able to do so. Level
So
4,
Nongshim should be able to come down here and get the dragon.
Yeah, here we go. I mean, Keria is level 3. I don't think they can actually kill him here, and the turret's going to keep him safe from that
like
W.
Yeah.
And that's the end of
Sylvie
that.
there
Okay.
should have just went straight down to the dragon. He's trying to.
So if you lane swap,
He was getting his blue buff in the wolf camp now, but they're trying to dive this Alistar. They should have just went for dragon.
I don't want any more of these games. This is just silly. Okay, Vital comes down, uses his heal, which is part of why
Guma was low on mana.
in Ding's level 2. Unfortunately, he doesn't have flash. There's not much he could do here. The aggro juggle by T1 is basically perfect. You can see how low these health bars go. They know just how much they can do.
I think
This
just
call
in this
to keep
series,
back in
T1's playing
looks
for
like a
fun.
mistake initially because he dies
It's
very
almost like a
so low
break
with
to
the
them,
remaining
this
Lulia,
match.
and then Jiwoo
They have
eventually
this week
a million years
off.
later showing up. He buys a ton of time here.
They may
which
not
does
even be
make things
scrimming this
very
week. Who
risky.
knows?
As here it comes Sylvie. See what he has to say.
Oh, good flash over the Vault Breaker there as well.
Got him.
I would say they're probably still scrimming.
Yeah, I think he thought of
Maybe
that
they're
one.
just having fun. Or
and he was
it
super
seems
close,
like
and
the
then Jiwoo's
coaching
like, "I
staff
got you."
has made a
Good
decision.
save.
Like Faker needs a
Guma
break.
sidestep.
There's the whole
I mean, that's a
fiasco
quick
last week,
hand, quick
so
reaction there from
let's
Fred.
let the
Well done.
boys
There's
just
another
play for
knockout,
fun.
and a Blade Call.
Because I'm telling you, like even I don't go play solo queue just for fun. It's like a job to me. I'm trying to grind certain things, and to most people it wouldn't be fun.
Is gorgeous. Vital looking to try and get himself out of this one as the Ignite
It's
was
boring
ticking,
to most
but not
people.
enough to take
That's
him
what
down.
it
Now
takes if you
Jiwoo
want to reach
trying to
the
deal
next
with this
level.
one. Has great moves with the Arcane Shift to get out of the way, but I think he's still in trouble. Gumayushi,
So
he
come
grabs
on,
the
guys,
shot,
take the
shot,
dragon.
Jiwoo that grabs the kill. Jiwoo's still alive, and he gets the shield from the barrel. Oh my god! I
We're
mean,
just
Jiwoo
taking
is
a
better than Ezreal
skirmish
barrier.
trade
This
after
goes
trade
badly.
after
You've got
trade.
Fed Ezreal on your hands, and you've tossed all the advantages
Porky's
you've
getting
got.
ahead
I
of
mean, not completely all
Yone.
of them, but a lot of them just into the
Yone
base.
has his
Materia
Zerker Greaves,
Looking for the
though.
execute will get it here, as it looks like the Vital Q does not connect.
Sylvie has
but,
his Faded
man,
Ashes.
This is a big turnaround. This is a fresh
Level 6. Lilia has a level 6 advantage over Vi, who's
game
level
of League of
5.
Legends. I just want to remind everyone, T1 is
Ezreal's level 6.
Nongshim
Ezreal's now 2 levels ahead of Guma.
have not won in a while. They have not won against T1 in a very long while, but they brought us to 3 quite a few times. As
Look at Jiwoo,
T1's
man.
E is basically perfect. Now he has the barrier.
I know a
here, so
lot
he
of
can get
fans
extra
like this
damage
type
from
of
Perry, who can't stick
game and
around
playing
turret
for
aggro.
kills.
Vital looking for the knockup onto Owner, and look at this shield to come through. And
It's
he
looking like a
doesn't
solo
steal the
queue match
kill.
in,
Jiwoo
low
and
rank.
Vital. Match made in heaven. I don't
So Owner gets caught out. He doesn't have flash, so this is the time to make a play on Owner. He looks like he just used his ultimate right now. So Owner just used his ult. Corky's flash is down. Guma, he's gonna probably need that cleanse later on. I know that was probably to dive, and anti-dive is why they're taking barrier, but I just think later on the cleanse is a lot more valuable. Barrier, not so much. Just depends if are you going to win the game in 20 minutes or are you going to win the game in 40 minutes. 40 minutes, cleanse. 20 minutes, barrier's okay.
know. As
Trying to see who shot first.
Jiwoo and Vi.
So it looks like Owner Vi ulted Lilia. Lilia's ult is down, so Owner tried to catch Lilia out, but I don't see any vision. I think Owner just made a bad play because I don't see any wards from T1 here in the enemy jungle, and he's overextended over into the enemy jungle. Nongshim have this scuttle crab, so this is basically Nongshim's river here.
But I don't know.
As Owner doesn't either, as he's
It's
taking
a very
so
greedy
much
play on
damage
Owner,
here.
and then Faker and Carry I know better and back off. They're like, well, why did he do that?
Just
And Owner was just in the bottom lane, diving and fighting with Guma. Owner and Guma like are very aggressive, over aggressive most times.
walk in the
Both
right
of
direction.
them.
Carry and Faker,
So they're
nothing they
kind
can do
of
about this, and can they keep themselves
Add
alive?
a flaw to
That's the real
T1.
question.
I have seen
They like to
exhibition
fight.
matches more serious than this first game.
This is definitely getting off the rails really
It's a good
quickly.
quality,
I think
and then it's a bad quality.
we need to talk to Mihail's first keyboard
Okay,
about this one.
Guma gonna deny some minions, and then he should be able to secure first turret here. Very easy.
I'll just put this. Also, Yon is very overextended, but he knows Corky, Vi, Carrier just backed off, so there's nothing they could do in that situation. That's why he could play like that. So Rakan prepping Dragon Vision.
Easily, very comfortably. He is still 800 gold ahead, despite Jiwoo's.
Jiwoo should be mid lane now. Now's the time where Yon should be bottom or top lane. So
Very,
that's another thing because they already got the T1 already got the turret down.
I don't know what to say, Atlas. Obviously, T1 has an advantage in this game, but
That's when you swap
I think
lanes.
everyone
If you're
just
bottom
completely
laner, you
neglected
should be
their
mid.
lanes for a
It's the
second.
first turret's
And I
down.
copy and replay
Or around like 15 minutes or mid game, some people will say.
purgatory for us to figure out where we are.
Now let's see. Can T1 prevent this? Owner's flash is down. Zeus' flash is down. His teleport's down. Corky's teleport is down. Guma's flash is down. Jiwoo's flash is down. His barrier is down. Rakan's flash is down. Supports don't have level 6 yet. Yone's ult is down. Lilia's ult is down.
Faker's ahead has a call.
So can T1 do anything for this?
that's
It
pretty
looks
much
like
it. The
they're
top
not going to
laners are
try.
very
They're going to.
low eco in this
If that's the
game.
case, then you
There's
have to
something
take the Void
happened over
Grubs.
here as well.
You don't want to let a team take both objectives, or then you're probably going to lose in 20 or 30 minutes. So you have to decide either or, whatever
Very,
situation or position you're in, top side or bottom side.
There. Yeah. And Drake going to be picked up here by Nongshim. It's going to be
But
good news for them.
T1's
They're still
not
1,000
gonna
behind,
go
as
for
you
the Void
illustrated
Grubs
before.
here.
T1 still, based on the fact that Nongshim were the ones that
They should
went
know
to the
that
lane
the
front,
dragon
got
was
dove,
taken,
kinda got
and Owner's
decimated in the
just
early
going
game.
for his red buff
They
instead.
are
So
still
I
going
guess
to be
he's going to try to
behind.
skirmish some more.
all the plates he picked up
This
and
is
the
a
full
skirmish
turret and his
game
first
from
turret blood. So
skirmish
yeah, they both
series
got
from
3 kills,
T1. They're
but
going to try
yeah,
to
he killed the
skirmish
bricks.
people to
He-
death.
He was
Not
going
worried
for
about
destruction.
objectives.
Yeah, it is a big
They're
Gumushu
trolling.
situation here. As Vital, once again, he is everywhere.
It's very tough to catch a cannon with a Rakan, though.
Yeah, and he is going to be able to make sure that Gumushu doesn't come up here, so that's certainly good news too. As
So
now
if
he
T1
carries
win
past
this,
in the mid
lose
lane,
this game
and
in
we've
the
got
series,
the
then
mid
they
laners
kind of
down
deserve to
towards
because
the
they
bottom
didn't
side of the map.
worry about
Ona
objectives.
going to spot out the fact that Sylvie's in the area. Lilting Lullaby does come down, and Ona takes a nap. It's suboptimal timing for said nap. But Ona
Notice
still
how the
going to
ADs are
survive.
mid. Like I was saying, when that first turret's down, the ADs go mid. That way they can stay safe. And the mid laners can side lane by that time, and they can stay safe.
Target selection fantastic there from Fisher, though. Looked like maybe he was going to go for the play on the Faker is over here.
Yeah, we've got an all-out from Mahai.
I think the exhaust is going to beat Zeus in this trade.
The exhaust goes down. He'll find some more cues. And the flash out from Zeus is going to avoid it. Vital now looking for the angle. He gets
Maybe
over there.
Millie miscalculated that Zeus didn't
He
have
knows that he has
flash.
to go all in onto this one.
Either way,
Samalco
Rakan was here to help. Notice how Millie probably didn't take this all in. As I say on my content, that you don't take and go for an all-in kill unless you 100% know you can win the trade. If you don't know, don't do it. Or if you have a teammate around you, then you can do it. Or wards or vision. But you don't want to make a play like this unless you know you have a teammate around the corner to save you if you miscalculate. But they did lose. Did lose Millie.
The heal comes
Mile.
through. It's enough to get his health bar
Millie.
back, but I think Vital really wanted to give Mihail
Lay.
the kill there and missed an auto. Ends up causing Mihail to
Looks
go
like
down.
T1's
It's very
going
close.
up
We'll have
to
look
the
at it a little bit closer in the replay there, and Mihail and the player
Void
cam
Grubs. I guess the
really
Void
frustrated
Grubs
with
weren't
how that
up.
one went
I'm
down.
sorry.
He kinda slapped his
They were
forehead
both.
there.
I thought the
A lot of
Dragon and
emotions in
Void
this
Grubs
one. I mean, Nongshim are
up.
not
I
going
got
to
ahead
play
of
up, but
myself.
At the very least, maybe taking T1 down on the way out.
Owner
would be such
is
a great
going for
way
the Void
to end their
Grubs.
season, or at least to sort of start bookending it here.
But it's looking very T1 favored in the second game, despite the scrappy nature.
Carrier gets a nice deep ward, which this helps owner take the Void Grub safely.
Of this game and how fast and loose both of these teams have played. T1 are trading up because they got plates in the bottom lane. Zayas 1v2 gets a kill, and now they're looking for more onto this Cassandra.
Billy's gonna get dove. He doesn't have exhaust.
Feeling a little bit mean.
Kennen doesn't have ultimate though. I was gonna say, I don't think you're gonna dive.
Has ult now, but again, it's a
Sante.
Kennen, so I don't know how
Unless
much
you
he
have the
really
Kennen
accomplished
ult.
here.
Yeah. Understandable that he is behind the amount of CS that he is behind.
Also,
but,
Rakan's there. They
I'm a
may
little
have
bit worried
solved.
about that reaction that you were talking
I
about in
was
the
gonna
player
say
cam.
Rakan might have been on a
Can get
ward.
emotional, as great bowling ball. Gonna stop Faker's back.
I mean, right now, if you look at Mihal's item inventory, he has Merc Treads, Nerf,
Dragon in 2
Null
minutes
Magic
and Rift
Mantle,
Herald in 2 minutes and
a
30
renewed
seconds.
feed. So he's kind of
So
he like has half a bag.
should
of
have
apples.
boots by now
Has a
and
real item
maybe
build,
one
2
item or
kills,
around
and
15
2
minutes.
plates.
So
He is going to need assistance
Doom is
up
on
there.
Essence Reaver
Sylvie made a big
already.
impact in this game in the
Ezreal
bottom
should
lane,
have his
obviously,
Trinity
but the
Force
3-6
very
wasn't able to
soon.
really patch any of the holes otherwise. This is just
I just saw Ezreal. I didn't see that before, but Ezreal hit a big mystic shot down here on Faker or somebody, or attempted. I don't know
really.
if it
I mean,
hit.
Zayas plays this so well.
Yes, and it did.
Aftershock's down. Zayas just
So, I
continues
mean,
to chase here.
at that
and
level,
as you can see,
his Mystic
the vital
is it
rotation is so
Mystic Shot or Arcane Shift? I think it's Arcane Shift. Mystic Shot's the Q. Arcane True Shot Barrage. Arcane Shift is the E. Okay. I haven't played Ezreal in a while. True Shot Barrage. It just tickles you at this
can
level.
actually impact this play. The ignite, or rather the exhaust timing is great, but watch this flash from Zayas. It's like pixel
I think you
perfect.
could actually like
Yeah,
buff
that flash.
True
That
Shot
Has all
Barrage
these
at low
minions, and Vital comes over and
levels
then
just a
watch the
little
heal.
bit.
I want to see the auto here because it looks like Vital
Take
pulls
away
an
some of his
auto
later
right
damage.
here because he wants Mihal to get the kill.
True Shot Barrage. I would rather like his
Ah!
ultimate do a little bit more damage
Oh, you can see
lower
that he's not
level
actually
and
too
maybe less
frustrated. I think he
damage
knows,
later
you
on.
know,
That's
that
what I
it's
would like
still
out of
a very,
Ezreal.
very close affair. Not as like it looked worrying in the small amount of pixels that we had at the bottom of the screen. That was a little bit more like, damn, he got me.
Yeah.
And not like a, oh no, my whole career is over.
Yeah,
Feels
the auto
like
definitely
his
kind of saved
ult
it.
does barely does anything till
That's certainly good news.
the third
Up towards the top side now. He's been
ranking
quiet
of
this
it
game,
and a
this
Man
is
Immune
not,
and Trinity
Zarya
Force,
going
and
to get
still it doesn't feel like it
re-engaged
does
on.
too
Viewer
much.
over to the side, looking
But maybe he'd be super OP'd then. Maybe I'm wrong.
mystic shot angle.
But I would take some of the damage out of his late game pokes and stuff, or his E maybe.
But Vital's the one that's in trouble. Okay, True Shot Barrage connects on the carrier, but he has an
As like, did the True Shot Barrage even do anything? Also, you gotta hit him with your W as well. So the global thing's not like that scary because you got to be in range to hit him with the W. I mean, I can't recall, like back in the day, it was pretty good. Even at the first rank, I think, whereas you could clear some waves or almost do some damage to a minion wave from far away. But now you don't. It feels like it doesn't do anything.
but Vital's the one that's in trouble.
It just tickles people.
Okay, True Shot Barrage connects on the carrier, but he has an unbreakable will. They both turn.
I mean, that's kind of like a disappointing ultimate, isn't it? It's like, what did that ultimate really do?
Okay, True Shot Barrage connects
Sneeze
on
on
the carrier, but he
somebody?
has an unbreakable will. They both turn. Immediately, these
They keep
health
just
bars are
nerfing
so
his-
low. It's a
They've just
2-for-1
nerfed his
Viewer,
ultimate
which is
away.
just massive.
Yeah, he has 5 kills now on this Ezreal. He had the Triforce in the fight.
Where it's like
Now
he doesn't
Kuma's
really
like,
have an
"Guys,
ult.
I'm trying to lane against this guy. We're trying to farm it out. Please don't get him too big." It was a really close fight, though, as everyone's health bars get insanely low. It feels like
So
Nongshim
Dragon
outskilled
20
Tech2
seconds,
T1.
Rift
You wanna
Herald
come
in
down to
40.
our
It looks
territory,
like
you wanna play the
Rakan's putting some
scrappy
vision
game?
around the
That's where we
Baron
live.
pit.
That's
Probably
where
going to
we're
recall, then
from.
go down to the
And
Dragon
it
pit.
does feel like T1 is still
Vi
slightly
looks like
trading up
she's
some of
going
these
up
exchanges,
towards
but this
probably,
Ezreal is becoming a very
knowing
big
owner,
dog very
probably
quickly
get his
because
blue
what he
buff
can do
before he does
with 5
anything, but
kills,
he's going to
even
get
if you
spotted
pull
out
down
on a
that gold
ward.
after all those plates that are there versus a Zyra
So
that
that's
can't
going to help
reach or hit him
Nongshim
is,
even
pretty
more to
significant.
get this
Yeah,
dragon
Not to
because
mention the fact that
they
the
know
iron
that
spike
owner
is gonna
is
be so
on his
much more
blue
powerful,
side. So
right?
now's the
So
time to
even
take.
if they're on gold,
And it looks like Lilia did the right
coming
thing
up on
and
this next
went
item
past
for
her
T1 is
blue,
gonna
so
be
she's
even more.
going
We're
to
gonna
the
have to look at
dragon
this
pit.
again.
The sleep here
We've-
actually
For like the 5th
pretty
time
strong
now,
coming
let's
through
see
as
this
well.
Ezreal
There's
do
so much
nothing.
CC, his
His
owner's like,
ult.
I'm trying to win this on Vi. I should win these. There's just so much CC. And he finally
I
does
guess
get
he
the
does a
re-engage
little bit of
here.
damage, and it's
Sylvie
multiple
doing all that extra
targets.
damage with the Q as Jiwoo gets the
But it just feels like they've just took more and more out of his ult over time, and it just does really about nothing till you have 6 items.
Super important. Sylvie just taking one for his Ezreal there, as he's kind of been Jiwoo's best friend in this game.
So T1 are one, two, three. We got 3 T1 members. This is where like a neighbor comes home and has dogs, and then my dog hears them and thinks he has to get up. So
I guess in a lot of ways.
1, 2. So 3 T1 members. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 Nongshim members there. Good boy, JD. He's okay. So Sylvie doesn't have ult. Millie has exhaust and teleport. Ezreal has no mana for this fight. It's kind of where he needed maybe teleport to go back and recall and teleport down here to have mana. So he doesn't really have much mana for an extended fight. He's got his ultimate up to tickle them. Rakan's flash is down. Rakan's ultimate is down. So Guma's ult is up. Alistar's ult is down. Faker has his ult up. I like to joke about the Jace and Udyr ult and Elise ult and Nidalee ult and Corki ult. And Owner's ult is down. So just looking at like, well, who can do what to prevent this?
Oh, Sylvie sort of dancing around this passive stacked up, so he's so incredibly fast.
T1 were ahead. Sylvie's level 9. I would say, I just realized that Owner is 0-4. And so I would say the Lilia might do more damage in this situation here. Corki's only got his steel plate boots and a phage, so he's not going to do much until you're 20 minutes with a fully stacked Manamune and Trinity Force. You really don't do that much damage anyways. Same with Ezreal. Even setting at 5 kills. Gotta have the stacked Manamune.
Even Smite going to be able to lock down this dragon. It's a mountain soul this game as well. Yeah, that is kind of huge because T1 don't really have like a true tank this game outside of Carrier.
So
and
Nongshim get the dragon. That's gonna put T1 behind by like 10 minutes now.
Carry, I feel like it's only half true
Yeah.
in terms of actually being able to get through those health bars.
If she can auto attack the tank, she does do legitimate damage to the tank.
Exactly. It's just a little bit challenging.
Carrier
at
comes
times
in
with
to
a
help
draft like
support
this.
Faker
We'll
and
see,
show
though,
his
there's only
love,
2 great lead.
apparently.
Obviously, T1 can start to
T1
stack up
go
those
for
positions
Rift
for
Herald.
Alistar as well. And
Sylvia's not coming
being
up
a
here,
boon for their
so
front
I'm
line if they
guessing
can start to win those
Nongshim's
Dragon
just straight up
fights.
giving this
They get
over.
the
I'd
gold
rather have the
turn.
Dragon than the Rift
Sylvia's
Herald.
looking for a potential
Talk
setup
about my
here.
formula where you
Another
get
angle
to
could just
4
be this turret that they're looking
dragons
for.
and you get a Baron and you can
Zeus
close the
will be
game
trying to
out
protect
in
it, but
25
there's
minutes. Now
another
you
mini wave
also
combo lining
try
in.
to get the Void Grubs
So I
and
think
Rift
they
Herald
might have to
in
vacate.
between, but you
Okay, Sylvia's gonna
prioritize the
flash forward.
dragons.
The teleport is coming on through though. The Q comes back. Fisher locks him down.
So Zeus wastes his ult. There's really nothing he can do there.
Just an
They also have Rakan. Rakan and Guma. Rakan, Guma, Vi, Alistar. Even Ezreal's walking down here. I don't know what they're going to do. Trying to prevent this turret.
overstay here for Zeus, not even able to flash his way out. And-
Ooh.
Okay, I think Vital might be dead. Never mind, he just quicknesses his way out. He's
Was against the
challenged.
wall,
It's-
so I thought he
like,
was
I don't
gonna
know, Vital,
be a
what did he
goner.
have for breakfast today?
I don't know, but what did Fisher have for breakfast today? He's all over the map in both games. He's just constantly setting up plays for his team or reacting to pressure they have on the map.
So
Gonna see a TP here top side.
Cassante teleporting top
as
into
well, so
Corky.
Fisher's not going to be able to put any pressure on the last remaining health bars of that
Fisher
turret.
just faked them out. I
But
think
you know, when you
thought
see
he was
Bro on
going back,
17,
but
when
he
you see
think he's
Nongshim
gonna
and
shove
teams
out
like
the
this
bottom
play
wave
well,
some
play-
more.
Honestly, I feel like better coordinated than they've played all season. You can really feel that once the playoffs pressure is off, and there's just there's a feeling of like we can't go wrong. It's T1, we're the underdogs. This team just takes risks and they skill check and they play like it's challengers again, and it's looking good. It's looking clean. I'm not saying this play is what's going to give.
I don't know. I
Nongshim
just
the
think
zero, but I think
T1,
this
they were
play
told
is
at the beginning
over
of
here.
this match is
Yeah,
this
let's,
week
I think I can
you
live.
have 2 lower opponents that are in the bottom of the LCK. Just have fun, limit test, try some new things. Don't play the normal formula
I'm out of here.
And he
of
certainly was.
getting every
Nice play from
objective
Vital
off
there.
the
I'm really glad
map.
that we got his perspective on that one
Playing for
because,
the
yeah,
objectives.
Rakan's
Just
very
go out
slippery.
and fight as much as
Zeus,
you can, have
he has
fun, no
flash, by the way.
rules. I feel like that's what the
in
players,
fact, Vital as well,
coaching
just
staff
gonna
on
miss
T1
everything. So,
told these
even though
players
Zeus
this
doesn't have his
week.
ultimate, it doesn't actually matter. As Mihail
So
gonna lose
they're-
his turret.
they
We'll
know
see whether he
better,
loses
they're
more
just
than that as
playing
Baker comes
for
down.
fun.
A lot of consistent damage here, shredding
It's
down the
a solo
Cassante.
queue ARAM
Connects it to
game.
his turret.
What a game.
This is a game.
This
of all
is
time.
a official record game. It
This is where you
real,
should have 100
and
CS.
I'm still trying to come
So
to terms with it. You know, after we identified
Or
that you and I might not be
170
real in game one,
CS.
starting to feel more and more like that we are not.
Yeah, this might
So
be a universe that
Cassante's
needs trimming.
pretty far
I don't know
behind.
whether you watched the
Now they
Loki
did lane
TV show,
swap, so that will
but that's what
definitely
they
put
say
them
in that one.
behind.
Do they say it in a low-key way?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's something like that. Must be why it's called that, because otherwise I wouldn't know why.
It's,
Area getting a nice
it,
deep.
it definitely is one of those games where I feel like I'm
I wanted to take a snap of that. A nice deep ward from Carrier. This is what I want to see out of supports. You supports out there. Nice deep ward to steal enemy blue buff. Who some will say is the best support in the world. I don't pick favorites or rank.
Why?
It's it definitely is one of those
I know
games
Mako's
where
one that's very underrated. Or not Mako. Excuse me, Ming.
I feel like I'm having the most vivid dream of my life, but it's not a lucid dream because I can't control anything, and I
he
don't know
played
what's
yesterday,
happening.
Wolf. He played yesterday.
I know.
Okay, Jiwoo gonna take a bit.
So notice how Carrie is putting wards around to put the pressure on the turrets or the objectives so they don't get dove.
Bit of damage here from Gumi,
Preventing an
but,
enemy
the
gank
wave
or a
is going to
dive.
wear off. And Vital now looking for an angle. I still like, you can see the T1 are about 2,000 gold ahead, maybe a little bit shy of that. But I still feel with the fact that Jiwoo is so massive.
Okay,
and
well,
you can
I guess
see
that Ezreal ult did a little bit more
this is
damage
still
now.
feeling like a game that Nongshim
Not
are
on a
just gonna
fully
win.
stacked
We talked
Manamune,
about
but
it
he's
already,
getting
but
there
Zaya is too
now.
low range to auto anybody.
Guma's
Doesn't
probably
I-
got some scary damage because he's got the Essence Reaver and the Infinity Edge, but I don't know, he might need a cleanse. CC that Nongshim have.
Or is a 2-item spike Ezreal
The
that can
ults,
constantly hit Qs
the Zaya
more
ult's not
valuable?
gonna
I
do
mean,
it.
More valuable to me.
As Zeus is going to press the ultimate button, Fisher soaks the entire thing and then moves away. And Zeus is just kind of not allowed to play the game here. That's what they're trying to do. He
Yes,
is
Owner just went
still
to his
30
blue
CS
buff and
on the
realized
mile.
it was
He's
gone,
really
so
their front line. Like his
guessing
ultimate
Sylvie had to
sets
come
off
in and
stuns
take
so
it.
that the Zaya can actually get into position to do the
Rakan
damage. The
might
Corki
get
can do
caught
the
out.
damage. He's also getting close to hitting his 2-item spike with the Ezreal, but you know,
left behind,
needs a little
but
bit
he
more
can
gold as Faker's been
jump
kind of
away,
in the
right,
side lane
get
this whole
away
time, hasn't really
safely,
picked up
so
any
that's one reason to
kills,
play
hasn't been involved in
Rakan.
most of these skirmishes, but he is definitely setting up for that spike later
Owner's
on.
going
But
for
if they
his
can constantly
Gromp.
make sure that Kennen doesn't have
Khan
ult,
gets his
it
War
feels way
Mogs,
easier
free
to
20
skirmish
minutes.
with this
So
Nongshim
he's doing really
composition,
well.
especially with
Nongshim Vital.
Ione, who needs to get into melee.
I felt like Carrier was kind of trolling in this game too because he didn't take the Warmogs. He took the Locket of Iron Solari, and I would have think of all people he would have went Warmogs second.
But everybody else hitting those second levels on the ultis. And for this next fight, this one's going to be so important. Around this Mountain Drake coming up in 5 seconds time.
Zeus doesn't have his ultimate because he got ult ganked basically for the 7th time this game, but he does have teleport, so he can be there, and if they can delay, the ultimate is getting closer to coming
Yone
online.
teleporting
About
into the
20
bottom
seconds or so
lane.
Yeah,
away.
Rift Herald going to come on down here as Zeus is going to teleport on top of it. Looks like they
Zeus
wanna take
teleporting
the
to
mid
the
lane out of
middle.
turret with
He's
them.
got
And I think T1
ultimate down.
should be able to lock this one down. Banana Brush warded up as well as Vital comes in. And that
T1
ward-
get
Ooh,
the
not
middle
gonna get
turret
swept
with the
just
Rift
yet.
Herald.
Oh, Muramana just
Might be a heavy investment because you're losing this wave. You're going to lose this wave. That's where Zeus is going down now. But you got a couple of waves you're going to lose, so some XP and gold.
transformed as now Mihail. He's not a target that you're really allowed to engage on. Still pretty tanky here, even though he's being put behind.
They can't see.
In
if they
this
can't see
game,
Zeus,
you
they cannot fight safely. They know where he is
achieve
now, but
one
it's still
thing
such a
while you're
huge
still
threat.
gonna
Flash,
lose
ult
something
back
else.
online.
Yeah,
This wave down here and this wave down here, so both teams are losing some waves that they could get on their carries.
Great knock-up. Positioning.
It's still such a huge threat. Flash, ult back online.
Yeah, Gumayushi pretty safe.
So Sylvie and Fisher are back behind the dragon, taking it. Corky's ult is down. It's a joke. Ezreal ult is down. Other than that, everybody's summoner spells are up and their ultimates.
Position.
So, is that Ezreal? Vital. That's Rakan.
Oh, but it's still such a huge threat. Flash, ult back online.
Yeah, Gumayushi pretty safe. Positioning right now. Head
Oh,
up,
no.
pulverize on to Vital, but now he gets out of there.
What did
Gumayushi pretty safe.
Zeus get
Positioning
hit?
right now. Head up, pulverize on to Vital, but now he gets out of there. Great
Oh,
knock.
he got knocked up from. He got Yone ulted. Okay. So Kennen gets Yone ulted here, and his ultimate. Cannon's ultimate is up, but I don't think he's gonna get to use it. He just instantly gets melted. So Nongshim get the right target. Sylvie had a Seeker's Arm Guard there.
Just a cow. What is he supposed to do? Jiwoo's gonna flash on top of Gumayushi. And
So,
Nongshim, I know
which
they
is,
ate noodles for
I think,
breakfast, right? It's
to me,
Nongshim
the best AP
down.
jungler,
I wasn't
especially
expecting
like
this
solo
game.
queue, second item, unless you have a good tank, engage or disengage, but I usually don't have that when I play solo queue, so have some type of engage or disengage. Seeker's Arm Guard, Zanya's Hourglass. So Nongshim ended up giving the dragon over. I think Nongshim made an error there where they should have taken the dragon and then went to Baron, but they go straight to Baron.
They ate noodles for
they gave up the dragon, which they need. And so they're going to be behind 5 minutes. They just gave a free dragon to T1.
And he just instantly sets up the sleep. Super decisive call from Sylvie. The follow bolt for Fisher is there. And Zeus is just 6 feet under before the fight can really get off for T1. They had Prio, they had the Herald going through, they had Banana Bush control.
T1's getting the dragon. Nongshim's getting the Baron. I don't think there's anything to really look at here.
Yeah, I think we're pretty happy about
But
how
I
this
think
one is
Nongshim
going.
messed up. They could have
And
got the
Nongshim-
dragon and the Baron.
I don't know what it is. Like, it happened to Bro. We saw it. They managed
It was
to
a
take
very
down KT
early
as soon as
Baron.
they were eliminated from playoffs contention. And
Have to look
I
at
think
the
a lot of
items.
people are going to be saying that T1 aren't looking as good as they looked earlier in the season. But I think that this is also
2
a lot of
items,
this
an item
is
and a
about
half, 2
Nongshim
items.
just looking unshackled here on the Rift. Their team fight
I don't know. I think they
beautiful.
should have taken the
This one
dragon
we're
and
known
then
for,
went to
this Wagner's
Baron
team
or left
was so
somebody
good
on
at just
dragon.
winning challenger over and over again. It meant
Maybe
they fell
Yon
behind
could have
in lanes
soloed
all
the
the
dragon
time, but their
down.
coordination in these team fights, their decision making was just so good as the game went on.
But they're playing against T1 and they're probably like, oh my gosh, we just beat T1 in a team fight and we just beat them in a game. We've lost to them 11 times in a row.
Because again, their strength of schedule is pretty weak, but it may affect which place they get in.
Yeah.
And that could actually be quite significant in terms of that first round. So
it might mean that certain teams could make decisions about which teams they face.
I'm not
And things like that. We'll see whether that
Not
is
too
gonna
much
be
going
a
on here.
reality.
I do wonder because, you know,
This
from
turns
a
into
watch
like a
this
40-minute game.
only perspective, maybe you would make a decision, but I'm looking at this and if you're a T1 fan,
I like about 25, 30-minute games, then I think it starts to get a little stale because there's not much movement going on. They're just trading waves back and forth.
Is increasing by the turret, and there's ways back into this game, but if Kennen can never ult, then is this draft even real?
Yeah.
That's a question we keep asking ourselves, is any of this real? But if you pinch yourself, you can actually feel that, yeah, Nongshim with the
Faker's
pressure
getting a
on,
wave.
T1 are underperforming a little bit here. I think underestimating and bringing Nongshim to the chaos is always a mistake.
You're looking at the items in
I'm gonna do,
CS.
On my way home tonight,
Millie,
I'm gonna buy
you know, the
myself
top
some
laners are
noodles.
behind.
Yeah.
Millie
Because I
is,
just
should
think,
be at
based on
200
this
CS.
performance,
Cannon's
Nongshim deserves
getting
Miles
there,
throwing some
but
cues around here in this this river. Still 2 minutes.
or it should be
Until that
230
Drake
CS.
does come back
So
up. Bit of good
Yon
news,
is a little
some
bit
good news
behind.
for T1
Corky's a little
is the
bit
fact that they were
behind.
able to lock
Ezreal's a
down
little bit
that,
behind.
first
Guma's
Mountain Drake
ahead.
of the game. Baron buff is going to wear off. Rebel Baron power play sitting at about 3,000, which is not end of the world territory, but now it's Nongshim with a gold advantage. They've been at a deficit this entire game, and still, like, it's a 2-0-3 Yone and a 6-0-1 Ezreal. The money is where it needs to be.
The Cassante being behind really means very little. We've always talked a
Jiwoo
lot about how Cassante
getting
can get a
the
lot done even while behind.
blue
And when he has
buff
this
from
Rooker in here into the
T1.
Kennen, it's hard to get punished by Kennen in lane.
Cassante's got one as well.
Not a really abusable
Fisher's got one
champion
too.
anymore. Like, they were able to turn him into a bit of a sandbag in the
So
early
there's
game,
3
but
blue
now
buffs
he's still
on
relevant, and we
Nongshim
had
right
Sylvie
now.
pick up a lot of gold early. He's able to complete Zonia's here before 25 minutes, so he's got Flash coming back online. Actually just came back up. So he can flash, set up a big sleep, and then be safe to actually
Again,
layer
these
more damage in
wards,
with his Leandries,
pressure,
super mobile.
which are would allow you to overextend.
Now, there's just too many problems to solve here for Nongshim.
Yeah, this is one of the big problems.
Nongshim own this much of the map.
Well. Spear of Sojin going to be coming in pretty damn soon. Still 3 items dumped.
It's not very safe for like Corky to be out here alone as far as he is on the mini map. Or Guma, at least he's got Guma in here. Well, I think they're all kind of grouped up here.
And Faker hits 2 items. You know, he's obviously
This much of the map belongs to Nongshim now. The turret's down. Once you take a turret down, like, you own that side of the map.
Here doesn't solve the range issue against this Ezreal, because Faker only has so many missiles, and Ezreal has infinite Qs, actually, as it turns out.
Yeah, even though it's been 10% nerfed, I think he got 10% buffed by killing everyone.
Well, that's the way I look at it. I mean,
more than 10.
That wasn't too bad. Fisher might be caught out of
you
position
might need
here.
to
Let's see
put
whether he can
wards
hold
in
the way.
there,
He is gonna
obviously,
be able
but
to do so.
I
That's a
talk
big
about
cooldown.
wards and vision
Now
all the
missing.
time.
No
That's one of my
teleport
main
to get him back into the
things.
fight as well as Ona is going to try and push him ever further. Still, he's got a lot
Working
of
with GAM, I did jungle stuff and vision stuff.
No buyout for owner, so locking down this Ezreal seems like a pipe dream at this point. Carrier
Constantly cleaning up vision spots, ward
more
placements.
dangerous with the fact that they don't have that fate sealed in order to lock things down. Carrier almost just dies to the true shot barrage, so they're not going to be able to go for any sort of engage.
I don't think T1 can do anything, so this dragon goes over to Nongshim. It turns into a game where it's, come on Nongshim, you should be able to close this game out quicker. Got the Baron in 30 seconds now. Ezreal's on his 3 items.
Onto Fisher, who just ults away, means it's just a free dragon for Nongshim. Like Zeus he really wanted to go in. Yeah, with his ult, he had flash available.
All of the summoner spells are up on T1. Got a 3k gold different. Looking at the levels, Owner's behind, Sylvie by a level, Carrier's behind by a level.
Owner's ult is coming back online here.
Also, Owner just went to the item shop, so he would have been a good time probably to take the Baron if you were Nongshim.
I know that it was nerfed a little bit as far
There's
as
Owner.
very late on, but it is still feeling pretty good at this point in time. Hasn't even gone back yet. I think Jack Shows is on the way. And he's going to be not only
Trying to figure out why
dangerous,
Nongshim's not going for the Baron here.
Very difficult to kill, and we saw that that was already the case even before that third item was completed.
Yeah, I'd be really
They
curious.
may be waiting on this
what
Fisher
Guma's
teleport.
damage numbers are in this game
Here's
as well.
Here's
because he has to
Fisher in the
play so
top
far
lane.
back and play so safe. If you actually look
Like
at his
some type
KDA,
of
you
double
just tune in, you're
teleport
like, oh,
play
I
at
guess
the
Guma's
Baron
popping
pit.
off. Well, he did early with a lot of friends and a lot of help, but he hasn't been able to get any kills since that 4th one, nor has he really been able to team fight because
So it looks like
his front line is getting
I was gonna
decimated
say
or the Vi is
Lilia,
not actually
Ezreal, and
set him up
Rakan
for
are going to start the
success.
Baron up.
Not to mention the poke is just so hard, right?
Yon went
Before
back and got
anything
his,
honestly
whatever this
happens,
item
it
is.
really
I keep
difficult
forgetting.
as
Shaco's something. Not Shaco, but Shaco. Just Jack Show, the Protean. So Yone's on his 3 items. Faker's only on 2 items and a half. Again, I think Zeus needs the Zanya's Hourglass second. He's taking the Proto Belt. Maybe he's just trying the new Proto Belt out to see the difference because they buffed it by like 100 HP.
Has to be employed just to make sure they're
So
not
it might
caught
be
by some
limit
sort of
testing
sleep
some stuff.
after that bowling ball comes in.
If I was coaching T1, that's what I would want them to do. I wouldn't worry about if they win this match or not. I would rather them. You don't learn anything from losing. Or I mean, you don't learn anything from winning. You only learn things from losing. So Owner gets caught out here. I don't know if he was on a ward. But Owner gets caught out. Then we've got some type of teleport play coming in. Yon coming in from behind. Owner's very, has that shield from the Sterix gauge he just bought. Maybe Nongshim didn't calculate that in. The Sterix gauge did a lot of work there. Nongshim didn't have the burst damage. Ezreal doesn't chunks you, but he doesn't do a lot of damage all at once. Chunks of damage. Takes time and poking to do all his damage.
And when the Ezreal blows up there, they don't have half of their damage, but it doesn't necessarily matter because Fisher is doing so much and the fight is so broken up by T1.
So Dragon up in 2 minutes 20 seconds. Sante just backed. That was a lot of shielding from the Sterix gauge. And Vi's natural shielding, I guess.
It's really Zeus who saves this play. He was able to get on top of Gio here, and even though he gets over the wall,
that's pretty. That's a lot of shielding from Sterix gauge and then her natural shield.
Fisher is actually winning against Owner on the side, so that basically guarantees this is not going to be a Baron. And with the lifesteal Fisher has on this buff Yone, they just can't actually win the fight decisively. The lifesteal is actually winning against Owner on plays out. Zeus on top of Gio here, and risky call. It's really vital here. Without vision of this banana brush is actually a really risky call.
Was that all of it?
Yet
I thought there was a picture where he had like way more shielding than that.
I think the decision to go on to vital here without
Shielding from there, and then the Sterix gauge kicks in.
It's really
That's a lot of shielding. That's very strong right now. Some would say OP. That vie on 2 items with the Sterix gauge and the Sundered Sky. Like a 20-minute Baron fight. That's very, very strong.
Zeus who saves this play, who's able to get on top of Gio here.
Because he gets
even though he
1
gets
versus 3, and it bought a lot of time for T1 to come in.
But then watch how the rest of the fight plays out. Zeus is instantly deleted by Mihail. Fisher is actually winning against Owner on the side, so that basically guarantees this is not going to be a Baron. And with the lifesteal, Fisher, and as Nongshim fight, they don't end up winning it. They trade even. They're still now further behind actually than 2,500. They're actually almost 3,000 behind at this point. But when you watch how these
he's an 0-5 Vi, right? Look at all the they couldn't burst him down.
It's just not playable, and they're just gonna go straight back to Baron and say, "We're doing it again." Sylvie's ult's back up.
And T1 have no information about what's going on here. You can see Mihail turns up in the bottom lane. He has teleport.
So
does
free
Fake
Baron,
Out.
I guess,
But
going
Sylvie's
over
in the
from
mid
Nongshim.
lane.
Fake out.
It's
real.
mid lane and AD carry that are just going to kill a Baron.
And T1 just aren't realizing.
Yone has so much heal from the Blade of the Rune King and the Immortal Shield Bow.
There goes the Baron, and it's T1 who let this happen.
I don't know, maybe Faker, maybe they're giving Nongshim a free win, right? Like, I know Faker's been big on Nongshim's noodles. I'm big on him. I like the Shin. Show you my cabinet. I have
Well, I mean, we have all the information. That was a sneaky
2 packages
move.
of
And
it,
G-Woo,
like 8,
did not
maybe
delay
9.
even
About
a second.
$3 a
He is
piece.
arcane shifting into that Baron pit instantly. Fisher joins him. It's hard to react so quickly to plays like this.
And they would have had to make a risky call.
Maybe
to go in there and try to
$2.50.
jack it, and then perhaps something get you see an interrupt on a
Like
teleport,
8
ends up
something
being
for
disaster.
4 of
Faker
them.
can't TP in there. Mihail will just stop him.
But then I add
it's
vegetables, like carrots,
attacking this team is
onions,
so hard as
green
well.
Yeah,
onions,
it's like both
tofu,
a sneaky
eggs,
call, but I feel like not really
sometimes
that risky actually by
potatoes.
Nongshim in this case.
Make
It was
like a
really
big soup
calculated,
out of
very
just
smart.
one package
Yeah,
of
and
it.
I feel
And
like somewhere
sometimes
there's
it's like so much
Okay, never mind. Mihail
lasts me
dashing forward, doesn't find the Q on Agumushi. The W is going to connect there.
dinner, and I have like half of it left over, or a little good bit of it left over.
Trying to soften them up as Mountain Soul now
You make like a meal for 2 out of 1.
Use their Baron, get things pushed up. Zeus one started. Yeah, Zeus, good flank angle. No flash though available. Let's see whether he can get into a good position.
A lot of
Carry
warding
is
I
half
see
health
over
now.
in the
Just off one
T1
combo.
topside
Fisher
jungle.
gets over the wall with the unbound soul. He's just looking
Don't
to
think
try and deal
T1
with
can
this,
do
and there
anything to
is
this, so they've got the
Mountain
Dragon
now
Soul.
available for Nongshim. Shields upon
When a team gets
shields
Dragon
for this
Soul, it's
Cassandre.
basically
They
over.
couldn't get to the Ezreal. Now, even if they do get to him, those shields are really going to be a problem.
Even though I
He
saw
has an
Dan
arm guard
Wakia
in
win
his
the other day,
inventory
that's
as well.
another
He's
one
just
that
so
I'd like to
safe.
do, but that
Yeah,
was like
He
a
knows that he's the
60-minute
hyper-fan
long
member
game
in
where
this
Dan
game. Yes,
Wa
Fisher is also pretty
let the
fast,
other
pretty
team
huge.
get Dragon
But
Soul,
if
and they
you
still won the
can't
game
kill the Ezreal,
somehow.
I just don't think you win these. You're
And
outranged.
The
And
other
T1
team
do
was
it.
pushed
They were
clear
like,
into
"Well,
their
I guess that's a
base
checkmate. We have to give this dragon up. I hope we can fight for Elder as a nice
to
one
their
here."
Nexus, and somehow Dan Wall still survived and won. I think Vital got caught out.
They all just regroup. Fisher on that bottom side, as Owner was looking for an angle as well.
I mean, this
not
is
able
all-
to get away in.
This is all T1 can do is try to set up Owner to get onto the
Yone
Ezreal from
is
behind.
on-
Like, if they can find a pocket
the
of vision, just one
crit
hole,
chance
maybe
cloak
they can
now
kill
too.
but Nongshim
Lily
goes
has
back
got
to
her
unit.
Rift
They're like, "No,
Maker.
this isn't right." they're
The
showing
Lily's
kind of a
on
weird
3
play,
items,
they're coming for wolves, that doesn't
Vi
make
is
sense.
only
Like,
on
must be
2
behind, just don't know
items.
where he is, he's
That's
not showing.
kind
They
of
back
a
away,
difference.
they don't over-index on trying to take out
Sante's on
Peter.
3
They don't make a
items.
mistake. Because right now, T1 are really banking on a huge overextension, a big mistake, or you know,
Ezreal's
an arcade
gone as
shift
far as
forward
getting
from
a
Gio,
Seeker's
but you know,
Arm
I don't
Guard.
think
I
he's gonna
like
do it.
that
I don't
one.
think he's going to choke.
Or it's like, so you've got that, capitalize
But
on an
Carry didn't
overextension,
go.
or
Like I
it's a
said, I think
will-o-the-wisp
like
storm,
Carry was trolling just
and then
based on his
Virgo
build.
Yeah, well,
That
that's what I'm saying.
isn't he the guy
that's
that
the only other angle you've got left
big
is
on
T1.
going Warmogs
And I mean, look at his Guma, 1400
super
gold ahead.
fast? And
But
he's
the value of
not
what
got
he's got
Warmog-
with that
he's
extra
going
gold is, it
Warmogs
feels
third.
Like zip, zilch, nothing compared to what Gio's been able to do with the front line he has. Decisive
got
engages
the
from Fisher.
Locket of the Iron
And
Solari.
that's the Zyra angle. I mean, Zyra, excuse me. Zyra is a canyon jungle angle, but I hate to harp on it so much.
Feel
He's
like
100
Zayas is
CSO,
limit
but
testing
we've
the
talked about it
rocket
so
belt
much.
to
He's
see
a
if it's worth
23.6K
using or not. I'm
damage
kidding.
is what the numbers are putting on
Should have
the
gone
screen.
like a Zonya's
As
second
we're
or
seeing if
third.
Zaya's actually ahead. So Zaya is ahead.
Because
Yeah.
I showed it in my notes the other day. I showed the
Interesting.
patch changes,
But,
and
but
the
how
rocket belt
effective
was
is the damage
buffed
if
by
it's
like
super close?
100%
Well,
or
this is the thing, is
100
that what
HP
we've
if I
seen
can
in these
remember off
fights
the
is
top
that
of my
the
head.
damage isn't necessarily
Sante's
coming
just
from
now
Gio.
getting a Bramble Vest.
He
Might
is
have
a
needed that
super
earlier
he
to
will be
stop
able to
the
clean up fights,
healing
but
on
so much of it
Zaya.
is the wombo combo
I'm
to
big
come
on
out
the
of both
Oblivion
Sylvie
Orb and the
and
Executioner's
Fisher,
Calling
who
and the
just
Bramble
denied
Vest,
Zayas the ability
even
to
to
play the
stop
game.
the like
Gumayushi
health
has been
potion
alive again
regen.
a lot of these fights. He hasn't been the one targeted. He's only died
I think
that
it's
one
just a
time, so
very
you can see
gold
he's
efficient
got
item.
most of his items completed. He is a monster
Or
in
like
this game.
Warmogs
In
regen.
these last fights, is he going to be able to get it done? As you can see, Fisher just searching once again for another angle. As this inner turret could be in trouble.
This is where it's sad, like me, I'm watching the game and I'm like, oh, look at all this. You don't want to waste these right here, like solo queue players. That's what you're not trying to waste. The reason why they're wasting it in this game because they're trying to push a base turret in. See, like,
obviously,
Faker couldn't even sit there very long watching that go to waste.
Would have had
Quickly
if they decided to try to look for that
came
all-in
in to
on
soak
Fisher,
up
could have
these
been disastrous.
waves.
Because with the amount of
This
control
wave
that
here
Nongshim have
crashing
right
into
now, if Guma
itself.
dies, then they just push further.
You don't
So
want to
they're
let
speaking
these.
of Zaya,
It's a lot of XP and gold just going to waste. That's what Nongshim's doing, is forcing T1 to waste these. Because they're ahead by 7k gold, so Nongshim can afford to waste the waves right now. That's why like T1 don't exactly know what to do here, because they don't want to waste those waves, but they gotta defend a 5-man group up here.
Fisher is also going to do the same thing, but of course doesn't need to be that brave.
Sylvie gets caught out, taken down by Guma. I think this is one of the plays where it's like Guma uses barrier already. This is where he needs cleanse. Just need cleanse in that situation. Now you might say, well, what would cleanse have done? Looked like he got knocked up and stunned. 3 or 4 seconds. Maybe he was down in 1 second. Let me look. He went down so fast I couldn't time it.
Button Vital's going to be there to try and protect him as Carrier looks for the option to headbutt back on a G-Wood.
One, 2. Like 2 seconds he was gone. But he used barrier and it didn't do anything. It was just movement I'm thinking about. You can move to cleanse. I could be wrong. Maybe the barrier's better because you can early dive or prevent dive. But a lot of it's situational. In that situation, yes, the cleanse really wouldn't have done anything, but I just think overall, unless you're going to win the game in 30 minutes, which they don't. Got the barrier going there. Maybe the barrier saved his life. And let's see. That's the shield, the overheal shield, so that wasn't barrier. Okay, so he used barrier here.
Nongshim, the headbutt back onto Jiwoo. He breaks his arm guard, but the ulti
Gets knocked
to
up,
punish Jiwoo.
stunned,
Fisher
can't move.
just says,
Where I
"No,
would think
not
the
today,
cleanse, he
my
could have
friend."
moved
That is
more
gonna be
over
the
to where
exhaust
Faker
damage,
was.
not enough to
Maybe
stop Jiwoo from falling down. Sylvie's now dead as well.
live
But
another
Nongshim is
second.
cleaning up the fight
Time
because
for
Fisher
Carrier to
is
come
still gets
over and
something.
headbutt
Faker,
pulverize.
not gonna be
Who
able to do
knows?
anything.
Yeah, Guma said, I'm going to put this, I'm going to actually...
But
put this
unfortunately,
game on my
Nongshim
back, and I am
couldn't
going to
break
carry
into
in
the
that
base
fight.
right here,
There's
so they're gonna have to
much
wait till the
damage
Barons.
was actually finally unlocked for just a second. Put Sylvie down to like 1% health and does massive amount of damage to everyone else who chases him down, but he does eventually fall. There's too many threats
Owner
here.
does a good
on
job
the side of
catching a
Nongshim.
ward there.
And
I'd like to
Owner
have that
not
ward
only
skin.
basically coming here to face
Promo
check and put
one.
up this ward, but then decides to go in. A very puzzling choice. Now,
Guma, I
critically,
think,
it does
or
end up
Owner,
getting
I think ult's the wrong person, maybe. I don't know why you'd buy ult.
ward, but then decides to go in. A very puzzling choice. Now,
Just to keep Guma from getting Cassante
it does
ulted.
end up getting the ultimate out of Sylvie, which is a tool that's down for the following skirmish. But look at this from Guma. He's like, nah, Sylvie, I'm going in
So
on
where
him.
was
I have
Carrier
the same goal. Yeah,
here?
actually can't get on top of me. Look at the kiting from Guma.
Where was Zeus? Zeus, I guess, was going to a wave over here. Like I said, like T1, they can't stand to see these waves
It's
going to
actually
waste.
fantastically played here. And then he gets on top of Jiwoo. One thing he can actually close the gap, get on.
I don't know why Zeus, like Zeus, and it's like where Guma got caught in a fight. He likes to fight, and like Corky's going this way, and Kennen are going this way to get this wave and get this wave, and then like it's too late before they start moving back, and it's probably where Guma's not communicating to him.
Here, and then
I'm
he gets
going
on
in,
top of
guys.
Jiwoo. One thing he can actually
Late on the
close
communication.
gap, get on top of the Ezreal. He does a ton, but there's just too many threats. And eventually he dies. And Zeus' ultimate is just too late.
He does manage to get Jiwoo.
Might have been
right
on
the
Guma's
edge.
communication
The flash
there.
instrument was fantastically played, but the patience from Fisher.
So
just
going
to wait
live,
for that angle.
Nongshim
He gets
should
it,
be taking the
unbinds
Baron.
soul, and then just throws the ulti on top of Guma, and there was just not enough left in the tank. Is now Vital going to get engaged on once again? Cease and desist comes down. Has he created enough space? The answer is no.
Khan gets
As the Rakan goes down,
Y
Fisher
ulted
is
and
going to
well,
reattach
he didn't get
once
ulted
again.
from
So it's
Zeus.
a few health bars now, a little bit lower, but not
So this may put Nongshim behind if they were to win this game, right? Elder Dragon in 18 seconds. Now you have to be considering the Elder Dragons. Fisher did a lot of work to
Double kill for Jiwoo to start this one. Zeus' ulti doesn't find the angle he was looking for this time. And this Mountain Soul, this Cassante,
So that's
so
probably,
big.
it should
It's
be
a
game,
triple for
right?
Jiwoo, and he's just layering
Be able
all
to
the
close
things
this
down,
out.
get forward.
It was also
One
the
for
Elder
Jiwoo,
Dragon and Baron were
Nongshim,
up. So.
a winning 2-0 over T1.
Unbelievable result. Two insane upsets today. First Gen G
So,
ball, and
Nongshim
then
defeat
T1.
T1
It was the
here.
win that KT
in
took that knocked
match
Nongshim out of
number
playoffs, but I don't think it affected them in this one.
76.
Maybe it was the lack of pressure, but they get a huge upset, arguably.
Where is my... And there's what I wanted.
Taste of things to come for Nongshim. I'm loving these noodles, man.
It's a budget challengers roster until the challengers players get a ton of experience to become veterans, right? It's a budget roster. It's a new piece.
So that's it for today's stream, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the next level with Sodaron. I'm planning to do the KT versus Gen G match, which is match number 75, but I knew that would take me a long time. I still ran like an hour longer than I wanted today, but hey, so at least this one's done and out of the way. And then I'm planning to do Gen G2. They play Mad Lions. And then I may be off for a couple days, or it may be maybe Sunday till I do the Gen G versus KT, but that's what I've got coming up.
It's just a surprise.
Because I'll probably eat food and then watch LCK live, and then it'll be 4 o'clock or so till I go to bed. So who knows? I will see you next time on the next level with Sodaron, and I'll leave you with an outro song. Thank you for tuning in.
So, how much is what it's been all day? I've just been getting gaslit all day here in the space, but I knew this was gonna happen. Yeah, they knew.
I see is mine. I think we're gonna hit disaster. Just give me one more try. And the moon came out on that gloomy night. Her face was full of pleasure, his was full of delight. And the clock struck 12, she was out of sight. They still love each other, all they could do was fight. Suffocation, everything I see is mine. I think we're gonna hit disaster, just give me one more try. Suffocation, everything I see is mine. I think we're gonna hit disaster, just give me one more try. Suffocation, everything I see is mine. I think we're gonna hit disaster, just give me one more try. Suffocation, everything I see is mine. I think we're gonna hit disaster, just give me one more try.